text, I know it's a toss up, but I hate the fact that we lost touch. Ayy, the Uber pulling up on call. Tell me, is you trying to fall through? I'ma leave it up to you. What you wanna do? Look, I'm trying to spend this time with you. Know we overdue. What you doing right now? Baby, won't you swing my way? It's been a day and I've been thinking out loud. I know I want you. Long time since the last time. Got a tab, we could run up. Knew you from the way, now we grown up. My look, yeah, made the realest ones nervous. But if you want it, tap in. I think that I know somewhere that we could go to crash land. We could keep the pace on slow jam. Don't leave me on red. Can we go back where we first began? No plans, all we had was the moment. This text, I know it's a toss-up, but I hate the fact that we lost touch. Yeah, the Uber pulling up on call. Tell me, is you trying to fall through? I'ma leave it up to you. What you wanna do? We was raised a little different. Used to be ashamed who I was, now I'm paid by the sentence. Taking my time with it. Baby, give me yours, so I could get them butterflies trapped in your ribcage. Let me know we on the same page. Give me with a text, voice note or an emoji. Waiting all day for your name on the ID. So if you want it, tap in. I think that I know somewhere that we could go to crash land. And we could keep the pace on slow jam. Don't leave me on red. Can we go back where we first began? No plans, all we had was the moment. This text, I know it's a toss-up, but I hate the fact that we lost touch. Yeah, the Uber pulling up on call. Tell me, is you trying to fall through? I'ma leave it up to you. What you wanna do? Lost touch, yeah. free in my mind. Moody. 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 Oh, you big moody. I crave love and attention, but I keep everybody at a distance. If I build it, will y'all really come? Bought all these panties, but I really don't wear none. I like boys and I like girls, but I love my baby. Some may judge, but Emmanuel is still God within me. Yeah. I don't drink liquor, but it's something about a champagne toast. Still can't swim, but I sure could float. I rip the water parasite, but all the elements live rent free in my mind. Yeah. Moody. Moody. Moody.
I am on an endless journey through eternity.
It's the High Powered Podcast. Lit conversations, debates, and advice that keep you turned up.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Usually tonight would be movie night, but we're gonna reschedule movie night because I wanted to be able to have this conversation tonight. Now we're gonna have a hard stop, so I gotta get started quick because I want to get as much out of this conversation as possible. So I ran across this brother who goes by the name of Purpose and Resilience on TikTok. And I came across one of his videos a few months ago, and I thought it was straight up legit, okay? This brother be out here telling women the truth, and some women just really can't get it. And, you know, and he's had a few popping videos with him just giving women straight game and telling them the truth. And anybody that's willing to tell the truth for the betterment of society and women, because women have to be better in order for society to be better. So anybody, you know, kicking game like that, you know, they good in my book. So I'm gonna bring this brother up, and I just want to let y'all in on the conversation. This is gonna be a conversation between me and him that y'all get to be in on. All right. So with no further ado, I'm gonna bring the brother up here. Let me go to my interview page. Brother Purpose, how you doing?
My sister, how you doing? How you doing, Battle?
I'm excellent. So you ex-military too, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you for your service. I sure appreciate it. And I'm loving the opportunity to get to introduce you to my audience. Let's just go ahead and jump into the conversation, man. I admire and really like a lot of the videos that you have put out, you know, speaking to women and it's like Big Brother, telling women what time it really is. And I just want to know what started you on this path of trying to kick game to women?
It was my school. Mm-hmm. What happened was, as I started Self-Improvement University, I started to notice there was a big difference between men and women. Even and we go back a little further, I started to notice how I was treated during my self-improvement journey and how my homegirl was treated. And that's when I started to notice that we're not treated the same. Mm-hmm. And she was making mistakes in her self-improvement journey and coming to me. And I was like, that dude kicking game to you. You didn't see that? And then she was like, oh no, you know, he's gentle, he's this and this and that. And these women would come to me. And I was like, you mean to tell me you didn't see that coming? That's the oldest trick in the book. Mm-hmm. And I started to listen and start to see these things that women would do. And even with, you know, even when I was out there, even though I was, you know, I'm in the military. So back then I was out there doing my thing, but I was more on the honest side. Mm-hmm. And I'm starting to see these women and I'm like, wait a minute, you didn't see that coming? Like I said, when I started the Self-Improvement University, mm-hmm. I think it was my first class, and I had 56 women. 56 women with the same story. Mm-hmm. He's a narcissist. He's this. He's that. He's abusive. He was emotionally abusive. He was this. And I would ask this one question: how did it start? When I tell you, Priscilla, not one woman came to me and told me it started differently. Mm-hmm. All the stuff, the pleasantries, all the things that you see and you can just clearly see is game.
Right.
And I'm like, why you didn't notice that? And when I realized that, that's when I said, okay, women and men are treated differently. Mm-hmm. Right? Some things are similar, right? A lot of stuff ain't. And I said, a lot of y'all women, y'all reckless. You reckless. You reckless and you dangerous, and you don't know what predators are. And you have no clue and no mindset on what to look for. And I said, but here's the thing. Remember I told you, I get pushback.
Right.
They come for me hard.
And what is the typical conversation when they come for you? What would be something that you would tell them, and then what would they do and what would they say?
Prime example, had a video of my homegirl about the guy who would take her to St. Thomas and he would buy her flowers and do all this other stuff. And I said, ain't no man that good planning no date. Men got to be good at this. He ain't no man that good at planning a date. Joe, you don't know what you talking about. You want everybody to be alone. And you know what I said? Listen, ain't no dude that good. Ain't nobody that attentive. Men don't have that type of attention span to be doing stuff like that unless they pursuing something and pursuing something they want. I said a man is a predator. And I said it's not a bad thing. I have to be. And remember we talked about this. She went off on me. No, he ain't nothing. He's a good man. You just jealous of him. She ended up she ended up with HIV.
Now tell them that story. Go ahead all the way through. I was actually looking for it because I wanted to play it before you showed up. But go ahead and tell them
Oh
this
yeah, they
story.
reported that one. They
Oh, they
got that one
reported
out of
that
it.
one. Oh, okay. That's why I couldn't
Yeah,
find
they
it.
reported
Yeah,
that one.
go
They
ahead
got that
and
one out of it.
yeah, tell
So
them.
my
Okay,
homegirl, she met
before
this
you
guy.
tell them, do you think that these dating coaches and these femininity gurus, do you think they setting women up for failure, or do you think they telling them something that
I
they
think
need
they're
to know?
setting them up for absolute failure. I think they're putting them in places where they situations where they shouldn't be. They filling their head up with full of lies and they're not telling the truth. And even if telling them something and kind of sort of can help them protect them, to be like, hey, listen, this is what you need to be filtering out to get to this. They don't tell them.
Right.
You can't have no woman out here walking around being nice to every man. That's crazy to me. You and I know that. That's that. I wouldn't want my woman to be nice. Excuse me. Wouldn't be nice to every single man that she meet. But you think about it, a man who preys on women or a weak man, he expect for you to be that dude. But a man like me, I want you to be on your guard. I want you to protect yourself. I want you to be able to do what you need to do in order for you to survive in this world. You and I both know this world ain't kind.
Right.
And the moment you show some sort of weakness, got you. I would rather a woman who has mastered herself, who's been sovereign, who's done the work on herself to filter out these men so she'll know that I'm different. And I don't have no problem proving the type of man I am to anybody. And that's even to because let's be real, me and you know this. We do this to each other. Men do this to each other. I have to prove myself to another man. How is a man going? How am I going to be considered a leader or be in a pack of men if I don't prove myself? So why is it that weak man over there get a pass?
Because women don't know no better. And so
They don't.
tell them, so go ahead and tell them about this situation with this chick.
So yeah, so me and my homegirl, we talked. She met this guy online, right? So he comes in and saying all the right things in the DM and everything. And I told her, I said, that man saying this too perfect. It's rehearsed. She said, oh no, he seemed like this. Let me call and talk to him. So, he had the typical stuff. He is a wealthy man, right? So he had all the, the pleasantries and showing around, showing off the trinkets and everything that distracts women from actually seeing a man for who he is. So he's sending, flowers to the thing, expensive flowers and whatever to the job and everything else, hitting her with the "Did you eat today? Let me take you out" or whatever, showing up in nice cars and whatever. And then they planted dates. Then he planted a date, and this is where me and her started to kind of sort of waver because I'm like, ain't nobody that attentive. No man is that attentive unless he on his purpose. I mean, what that don't make any sense to me. He's picking the right restaurant, which he probably know the people. He probably do this all the time. I said, only men who are that attentive and that good at dating is men who do this a lot. And so she cussed me out, said, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. He just a real man. He know my worth. He know my value." And so she told it to him. So she said, "Yeah, my friend said you what's name?" And he told her, "Nah, baby, I know your value. I know what you were." Okay. So then he was like, "Listen, we've been talking for about a month and a half. I'm going to St. Thomas on some business. Who go to St. Thomas on some business? And so I said, listen, that don't sound right. That man don't even know you. Why would he take you there? And we know the only reason why he taking you there is that once he gets you in that spot, you gonna give up that goods. You're gonna give it up. Your guard's down. He guards down. You gonna do it. Long story short, she gets down over there. They having a good time, whatever. He telling me, I'm really feeling you, blah, blah, blah. I got this connection with you. And he went out there, hit it. She come back about a month later, started feeling sick. She couldn't shake this cold, so she thought she had the flu. So I was like, I don't know about this. Not a month. Flu ain't gonna last a month. And she already had a compromised immune system. I forgot what she has, but she had an autoimmune disease. So I was like, this ain't gonna last no month. So she said, oh no. I said, go get checked. Did you, then I asked, I said, hey, yo, did you use a condom with that man? That's none of your business. So no. So she said, that's none of your business. You always want somebody to be by yourself and be alone and all that. That's what's wrong with you, man. You just want you want to see it in one way and just we cut off our friendship. So about 30 days, another 30 days go by. She's still getting sick, tired. So this time it started getting worse. So she went to the hospital. The daughter said, hey, let's go to the hospital, maybe the emergency room to see what's going on. She goes there. And they asked her, she been out of the country. She said, yeah, about 2 months ago. So they did, the, COVID test. She came back negative. So they asked, the doctor said, when the last time you've been sexually active? And so if you work in a hospital, they already know.
Right.
So she said, oh, about 2 months ago, about 2 months ago. She said, okay. So he said, mind if we do an HIV test? And she said, yeah, why not? I know I'm clean. And then they came back and told her she had HIV.
Now,
by this time,
go ahead.
homeboy, because she told homeboy she was going to the emergency room. And he was like, oh, all right, you fine, you good. Let me go get you some, medication or whatever, get some cold medicine and all this. It's probably a cold, you got that compromised immune the last 2 months. Long story short, while she was in the emergency, he blocked her from everything.
Wow.
Everything. Right? Blocked her from everything. Come to find out that wasn't his real name. The social media account that he had wasn't his real social media account. She didn't know much about him. Right? But she got so enamored by all the trinkets and all the other stuff. She never paid attention to the things. And I told her, I said, it was things that he probably showed you, because men can't keep up. Men are not liars. Men are deceivers.
That's that's what I've been telling the women. Once you learn about a man, you realize a man can't lie. Women end up actually lying to themselves and trapping themselves because they don't want to accept men for what they show them.
Exactly. And here's the thing, then she calls me hysterical. So I go up to the hospital, I see her, and she said, Joe, how did you know? I said, ain't nobody that good. Nobody. And we mended our friendship and everything else. But you imagine you in your 50s, almost in her 60s, you just find out you got HIV. And and this is the thing. I told her, I said, he showed you who he is. You just ignored all of that and you lied to yourself. He showed you the deception. He didn't lie. He didn't lie. He just deceived. He just told you who he is. This is what I am. It was up to you to protect yourself.
Right.
And be like, nah, I'm gonna strap up. But you got all this other stuff. You on Facebook, you on social media, hey girls, I'm in such and such a, don't settle for this and that, all this begging they do.
Yep.
And I said, you can't be serious.
Right.
You let this dude finesse you with the greatest, you don't even know if he real.
Now, what women don't understand, right? Women really be desperate. And they really be selling themselves. They sell their body. They sell their time, all for attention, just to stunt on other women. Now listen, if she'd have invested in herself, she could have took herself on a trip. But no.
Exactly.
She went and had sex with a stranger who she
Yep.
didn't ask no questions to, right? And women often do this because, if you tell a woman about a man, just like she told you, you jealous, you a hater, women will tell a woman like myself, they'll tell me, if I tell them that, oh, you just hate men. And so to prove that they're not man haters, women are so quick to believe anything a man say. Women are easily bought. And this is the reason, that behavior right there is the reason why men in general look at women as whores, natural born whores. They
I agree.
sell themselves for attention and they'll do anything for it. And number one thing that they'll do is sex with no
Because they think
boundaries.
that's a way to control a man.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. And this is crazy. She it was more about her social media attention because everybody was like, girl, does he have a brother? Girl, he has this and that. And they egged her on. And she listened. She actually had a consult. I'm not going to say the content creator's name, but she had a consult with this content creator who was egging her on and telling her, go do it.
That's why I tell people to stop listening to certain content creators, because these content creators, these women, are setting you up for failure. They do not care about you, and they sending
agree.
you straight into the lion's den. They send you straight
I
to the
agree.
lion's den, and they tell you just take the money, take that. They don't teach you discernment. They don't tell you when to turn it down, nothing. They just tell you to go.
Go. And the crazy thing about it, when she went, her daughter told her, "Oh, we can sue him because he's supposed to let you know his status." And so I'm like, "Yeah, he's supposed to let you know his status." The lawyer said, "Can you prove that?" And she said, "What do you mean? Can you prove that?" See, that's the thing I tell people. I tell women all the time, especially in my class. I'm like, if it can't be proved, you should treat your life like a court of law. Because if you need facts and proof and data, you don't need somebody just telling you stuff, because emotions doesn't apply in court. But what women do is that they'll sit here and listen to this man, and this man will tell them everything they want, and they'll go out here and they don't even understand this dude. This dude is proficient in life. I tell women all the time, you can't beat a man in life,
You
because
can't.
I'm not born with my purpose. I have to pursue it. So that means that life is not good to me. So I got to figure out how to be able to gain power. And how do you gain power as a man? You got to go out here and fail. You got to go out here and do some stuff. So the world treats me differently, which gives me a better understanding on how to maneuver. So then when I see something I want, because I am a natural predator, and I tell women this all the time, men are predators, and they get mad at me. I said, now, when you hear that word predator, you get mad and say not all. Then that means that you don't know what a man is capable of doing. You
And
don't know a
you
man's
don't.
capabilities. Because
And you
men
know
are.
what?
I said, and I told my homegirl this, and I teach the women this. I just taught this to women last week. I'm supposed to be. And they said, no, a man is not a be a predator. I'm supposed to be. That other stuff, like men supposed to be emotionally available. All that's bull.
All that's
I'm
bullshit.
supposed to be. And I said, let me tell you why I'm supposed to be. Because in predatization, in hunter, I have to be cunning. I have to be skilled. I have to be ruthless. I have to be ambitious. I have to be driven. All of these things are what's in a predator that makes me go out and pursue my purpose. I got to use all those things to be able to do it. Just because we are civilized and we go get our meat from a market, don't mean that I don't know within my body, and my body doesn't know how to go hunt. It's the same. It still knows it because it's in my DNA to do so. Now, if you take a man who's a weak man and he's not on his purpose and he's not doing the things that he needs to do to utilize all those things to be able to pursue greatness for himself, then what you get is a man that converted this to becomes a slave to puss. And now he's like,
Exactly.
I want that woman over there. Because he's now, and a lot of women fall for that man because that man will yes dear you to death. He will say whatever he can to make sure he has access when a man on his purpose will not do that. A
Exactly.
man on his purpose will let you go quickly.
Yep. And that's
Quickly.
why women like weak men.
Weak
Women
men.
like weak men because the only power that a woman typically has over a man is sex. And a
That's it.
man that is not sexually weak and can reject her, she feels like she don't have no power. So women often seek weak men who don't have sexual discipline. But if a man don't have discipline in sex, he don't have discipline nowhere else either.
Nowhere
This is a
else.
dude that will pop you in your mouth. Like, purpose, they don't know, man. I'll be trying to tell them.
Yo, I told my homegirl that. Oh, she just told me, she said, yeah, Joe, he called me in the morning, he called me in the evening, he called me, and I said, he's supposed to. I
Right.
said, if he don't have no sexual discipline, you can't trust that dude. He gonna go for the highest bidder. He gonna go for whatever he like. He go, ooh, that girl got this. She got what I want. I got what I like. He's the weakest man ever. I said, she cussed him out and had a bad day. He just took it. I'm just gonna rest and let you, get with this. I said, try that with a man on his purpose that does not pursue sex. He would have told you, I'm gone. And you let me go let you find yourself a chew toy to go
Yeah.
play with.
Exactly.
Because men don't do that. He's a weak man. And then come to find out today, he married. So how do you trust a man that doesn't have discipline? I'm like, he showed you he didn't have discipline.
And women don't care about that. Women don't care because women just want power. They want to see, women want power and they want to find a dude that they can turn into their little slave that'll worship the ground that she walk on, give her all the attention, and give her his money. That's all these women want. They do not want anybody that actually got some sense about themselves. Women want control. That's the problem. So so it's so easy for a man to get over on a woman because all he got to do is present himself as weak. And the women so silly, they sit up here listening to all these content creators telling them to get the money as if other men that you trying to prey on ain't listening to you. Now they know exactly what it take to get your dumb ass.
Yep. Let me tell you something. That's all they do. I say this to women all the time. I said, listen, if a man, no, let's say this. Jill Scott said something that a lot of women didn't get. She said, if you can't tell me what to do, you can't tell me what to do. And I told my homegirl, I said, that is about a man with discipline. A man with discipline, a man who got his stuff together, a man is on his purpose. You can't control. You gonna listen to, he gonna check you. He gonna be like, hey, listen, that's not how you talk to me. That's not how you talk to me. You talk to me like that again, I'm gonna have to remove myself. And we're gonna have to go on. Women don't want that.
They don't.
They want the weak man because the weak man has no discipline enough and has no characters, no morals, no standards about himself to be able to even go for his purpose. Think about it. A lot of these men are slaves to women. And they're slaves to try to get as many women as they get because to them they feel valued. They never been that dude.
Right.
Like you see the dude, you see him. You see him. They ain't never been that dude in high school. They ain't never been that dude. And now they come on the social media side of it, and they come out here and now they that dude.
Right.
Now they that dude. And so I listen to women, and I'm like, how you didn't see that? How you fall for the banana in the tailpipe? I seen that before you even started. And now you saying here narcissist. But you didn't listen to over here, this lady over here tell you that this is what you need to be doing to get the money. And you think that they the only ones listening to it? So they present themselves in a certain way to make you perceive that they got money. So because you don't know what real power is, and most women don't.
They don't.
You don't know what real wealth is. Most women don't. And so then all of a sudden you perceive this person who is in debt as a person who has wealth. And you don't understand that he's doing this because he's a slave to a woman. He has not mastered himself at all. So how in the world are you sitting here actually thinking that he's not going to cheat. He doesn't have the characteristics to deny another woman. I mean,
Exactly.
most men who have weak men who have not done what they needed to do within themselves will not deny even the most ugliest woman.
Exactly. These dudes will
They
stick
won't
their shit anywhere. And so,
anywhere.
and the women, the problem with the women is the woman wants to actually, women don't realize how narcissistic they are. They
Yep.
want a man they want to get a man so they can trap his eyes and make him see only her. She want to trap his penis so that he only sleep with her. She don't want him to see no other woman. So a woman will go in knowing that a dude is with another woman, and she will go in to sabotage the other woman because she just want the attention. So
Ooh, you
women
speak.
don't care about a disciplined man. They need a weak man because it's
Yeah.
that weakness that allows her to conquer and stand up on another woman because she want all the attention on her.
You talking, you speaking. Because I said something to the group of ladies the other day. I said, you say I want a leader. I want a man to pay, a provider. Somebody asked me on the podcast, I don't know if y'all seen it, I don't know if they dropped it, where he said, are you a provider man? I said, absolutely not. You working here.
Right.
You work. You contribute. You contribute. Well, a man is supposed to do this. I said, why are you begging? And she looked at me and she was like, that's not begging. I said, you mean to tell me you can't go out there and get it and do what you know to do? A leader of thy own self, a leader of thy own self will never pick a liability, will never
Exactly.
pick a liability. I'll never pick somebody who went, because in my absence, shout out to my brother Kari in there. In my absence, you need to be able to keep going. I'll give you an
Exactly.
example. Me and my ex-wife, I picked my ex-wife. My ex-wife is a leader. And I picked her even in divorce. There's a high expectation for me to be a father. There is a high expectation for me to perform and produce even after divorce. On her side, there's a high expectation for her to produce. We run one up, one down. So if she gets sick, I'm making sure she's straight. I'm making sure she's good. I'm making sure she has everything she needs. I just got her brakes done so she can be able to do the things she needs to do, because we're both teammates. What women do is they want to hand all this responsibility to a weak man who
Yep.
has no goddamn clue on what
Exactly.
to do as far as where the world doing, because he has not been in the world enough to compete. If a man
Exactly.
cannot compete in the world, why are you with him? In
And
my
look,
school, I tell women this all the time. In my school, I produce nothing but lions. Someone came in there and said, well, they're lioness. No, I have lions because I have a high expectation for them to get out in that world and tear the crap out of the world. There should be no woman that graduates my course that should be out there with a weak man. A man is supposed to be able to compete and conquer even himself, because he should know what it looks like. So why would a man ever go get a liability?
but here's the thing, Purpose.
Yeah.
Women birth sons and they turn them into liabilities. Women
You talking
turn
now.
their sons into liabilities because they don't know how to raise males. They don't even know the nature of a male. So if you can't even select properly in dating and being able to understand what a man is, there's no way that you can raise your sons. And what they end up doing is the women always coddle their boys and they step in and try to handle every piece of conflict for their sons. They
Mm-hmm.
don't allow their sons to stand up on their own, and they create total
Woo.
dependence,
Yep.
right? And then they get mad when they date another woman's son that did this, but she do her own son like this, right? And women
Yep.
have a lazy mentality on top of that because all of the responsibilities that women want men to do actually are native to women. And women are looking for men to be slaves to them, and they don't even know the impediments and the threshold that men have to what they can and cannot handle. So women overburden men with extra duties and responsibilities that don't
Mhm.
even complement the nature of a man.
Ooh. Let me tell you, let me add to that. I tell women this. I was raised by my grandmother, right? So my grandma was hard. I'm not a mama's boy, I'm not a daddy's boy. My grandmother, I was in special ed. Couldn't read. My grandmother said, "Let me explain something to you, son. Nobody cares a damn if you can't read or write. You need to understand this world is cruel. And you need to go out here and you need to get it." She raised me. She didn't coddle me. She raised me, not nurture me. You can nurture a daughter, but you
Exactly.
got to raise a son
Exactly.
because the world has a higher expectation and it's crueler and it's a certain way to men. I tell this story all the time. When I first got in the military, I was 12 Bravo. I'll never forget this. I had a brand new pairs of shoes, but it was three dudes from the hood. And they said, "My man, I'm gonna need them shoes." And my drill sergeant looked at me and said, "If you let them take your shoes, you're gonna be clipping their toenails." I said, "I ain't letting nobody take nothing." So I went in there and I beat the brakes off of all of them, right? Because I had to. I didn't get in trouble. Nobody yelled at me. I didn't get reprimand. Why? It's because men have a tendency for violence and there's an expectation that if you go so far, this is what's going to happen, where women do not. Women do not have a hierarchy. They don't respect the
Exactly.
hierarchy and they disrespect each other every day, right?
Exactly.
But I was raised to be able to understand that is how I supposed to respond. I wasn't nurtured to run from it. And if I was nurtured to run from it, I would have handled it differently. And then I would have ended up developing a passive aggressive nature as a man. And a passive aggressive nature as a man is dangerous.
Exactly. It is.
And a lot of women try to nurture men when you have to understand that is not his fucking nature.
Yep.
He needs to understand that you need to be, shout out to Jordan Peterson, you need to be dangerous but disciplined to be
Exactly.
able to handle it. But most men, they shy away from their carnal nature. This is why they don't know how to handle it and develop it as it comes around. This is why women go and they say, and then and let's add this to it. And then when you put the female gaze onto it, now women are like, oh, now the dude is like, well, I'm definitely not going to improve. I'm definitely not going to be a better version of myself. I'm definitely not going to be a conqueror myself. Why? Because I get more attention being a weak man and being deceptive in fucking nature
Yep.
than I do being like purpose.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna use me. When I was 375 pounds, Priscilla, you couldn't stop. Women always was with me because I was a weak man. I was 375 pounds. There's no realistically, we know this because we know about being battle ready. You know, in the military, the preparation is a must. It's he
Exactly.
who is prepared that wins the war. So if somebody would have ran down on me and her, there ain't no way in the world realistically a person who is fit or where they where they need to be will be able to not get me up out of there. But it didn't matter because I was compliant, complacent, lazy, passive aggressive, tolerant. My tolerance was high. So I was able to tolerate certain things because I didn't put the work in myself. And here's the thing. The world don't care because we're vets. You know better. You know better.
Right.
The moment I start to self-improve and improve myself, those same women are not attracted to me
They
anymore.
not.
And
Women
now
like
they're
weak
with
men.
men who are passive aggressive, who are overly emotional, who are not on their purpose, who not willing to be dedicated. If you call them at 8 o'clock in the morning, they answer. If you call them at 3 o'clock in the morning, they're gonna pick up the phone. You do that with me, I'm not picking no phone up if I'm asleep. I prioritize my life, and women do not like structure.
They
And
don't.
so if women get in my life and they say he is too structured for me to be with him, so there's no way I can be able to change or alter anything to get him to look at me. but
Yep,
they
that's
don't
exactly
understand that
right.
there's a 100% benefit with being with a man who is on his purpose and dedication. However, you have to understand you have to conquer yourself as a woman. I'm not paying
Exactly.
all your bills.
Women don't realize that they have work to do on themselves. Women want men to do all the work, and women don't think that they got nothing to fix at all.
Mm.
And so one of the reasons why a woman can't stand a man that's on his purpose, because he don't have enough time to give her attention.
You better say
All
it.
women want is attention. They want to be up under a man 24/7. She want that man to fulfill her fantasies. And this is why men dog them. This is why women chase men who are athletes and everything, because they have the money and they feel like these men are sexually weak and will trick on them. Women don't understand that they think like whores. They
Yeah.
think and they move and they behave like whores. And so men treat them like whores.
Yeah. That's true. And here's the thing. When I tell women that all the time. I said, when you master yourself, and I say this in my class all the time, here is the risk. And me and you know this. A woman who improves on herself and conquers herself is almost no longer attractive at all.
Correct.
She has a very, I say this in my class, if some of my lions in here, if say I said there's a possibility if you improve yourself and you become sovereign and you become a self-improved woman, there's a possibility you may be by yourself because
Right.
there's an overly abundance of weak men who wasn't that dude when they were young, who didn't understand that, who don't understand how to pursue their purpose. There's an overly abundance of that, and you either going to have to settle as a woman or hold out for a man who is actually about something.
Right.
Well, where are those men at? That's work.
Yeah.
So you have to understand as a woman, it's almost non-existent. So you have to be okay with being alone.
Right. And here's the thing. I saw a lady in the comments say, "Well, what's wrong with healthy women? Don't we deserve a healthy man?" See, that's the problem. People think they deserve stuff. You don't deserve another human just because you want them. That's a narcissistic mentality that you think you have, that you are owed what you want. A man has what he is attracted to, and just because you attracted to this person don't mean that they attracted to you. You don't deserve nothing but what you work for. Whatever you put in is what you get out. You don't deserve other human beings. Human beings have free will to go on their path,
Yeah,
right?
I
And,
agree.
and so when you become a woman of higher caliber, the fact of the matter is the majority of men won't make it there. You don't realize how much work it takes a man to conquer his nature. Men have a cap to their elevation. And
I said that.
yeah, men have a
Let
cap
me
to
ask
their
you that real
elevation.
quick.
Go ahead.
I told women, I said, it's hard for men to self-improve because you have to look in the mirror. And I'm going to use me. When I first started, I didn't make it what I seen because I had to do the mirror talk with my therapist. Most men ain't doing that. You're telling a man who's 375 pounds, who is getting the attention of beautiful women at 375 pounds, to walk away and know the reality that the reason why they're with you is because you are displaying characteristics of a weak man. I'm getting the woman's gaze, and you're telling me to walk away to self-improve and to improve, and then on compounded, you listen to the internet and everything the woman's saying, the qualifications I got the house, I got the money, I got that. Oh, there's no reason to improve.
Right. And that's the purpose. That's the part that women don't get. Women still think that they are like men. First and foremost, women was reproducing on this planet without sex. They were just copying themselves through parthenogenesis. Then they created sexual reproduction. And when you created sexual reproduction, you created a man. You created a man as a sexual animal. Sex is a man's domain. And his only purpose biologically is to get access to as many females as he can to pass his DNA along. Period. So women want to act like they're men. So no matter how you slice it and dice it, women, you are the whores when you lower yourself to try to compete with a man in the sex realm, when you try to give him sex to get whatever it is that you want. That is the behavior of a whore, and you don't understand that it takes so much discipline for a man to overcome his primary nature, which is the whole bulk of his existence. You telling a man not to exist like a male.
Like a male. I agree. And it took me 3 years. Because I had to turn off the understanding of that. Because you have to give a man a higher thought. Think about it, like, all right, somebody said something in the comments. Let me explain this. To give her to drive her point, monks become monks at children. To get the boy at a certain age, and they go and take him and they teach him to the monastery or Shaolin or things of that nature. They get him young to get to mold that discipline in him, to be able for him to subdue the nature for which he is. Right? You take, shout out to my Claude Anton Thomas, my mentor, one of my mentors. He's a monk. It took him 20 years to figure it out. Most men cannot subdue that.
Exactly. They can't.
And when they do, they become powerful. And those men we see now, the 50 Cents of the world, the people who are there, because once they get to that level of understanding, they become, it is what it is. I use Elon Musk. Elon Musk's first girlfriend, she said, if you do not do such and such, I'm leaving you. He said, well, that's fine. By the time she got to her house, he's already had the legal team letting her know this is what you get in your severance package and where you need to do. Because once you subdue that, the world opens up. Most men can't.
Right.
They can't. It took me 3 years. It took me 3 years because you have to understand how men's mind operate.
Right.
If it took me 3 years and I had to go through hell every day to understand it, to take my nature and to be able to twist it and form it into a purpose, nobody can handle that level of truth.
Right. They can't. And that's the part that women just really don't get. I had another guy. He was a psychotherapist, psychoanalyst. And his name was Previn Carrion. Previn got up here and said the same thing. He say, I got that nature in me too. And he says that it took him 20 years to be able to really understand and control this wild beast on the inside of them. Women don't understand the amount of willpower that it takes for a man just to live in a social environment, because men are antisocial by nature. So you take a wild man and put him into a social environment, and then all the rules of the social environment go in direct opposition of his nature. That means he has to flex willpower 24/7 just to be a quote unquote normal human being in this environment. Then you want to add some stuff on like love and deep emotion and all this other selfish crap that women want to add on to the responsibilities of men, because women fetishize men. Women don't like men. Women don't love men. Women fetishize men and try to use men as slaves to them. And because they approach men like this, they find out very quickly that this all blows back on them. They all fail. They get the recourse of trying to do this, but the women just do not learn their lesson. They keep hitting their head up against brick walls until they bust their head to the white meat. And even with blood coming out their eyes, they still don't learn.
That's true. I'm gonna drive your point. You look, women look, like you said, they look for these weak men because these men prey. They prey on these weak. You and let's be honest. Let's be honest. We got to give them some credit. Let's give them some. I don't blame them. If you find a dude who willing to go out here, bust his head, get high blood pressure, get all this, and you don't have to do no emotional work, no nothing. You don't have to do anything, and this person is going to let you floss on social media, do all the things that you want to do. You don't have to do nothing. That's freaking easy. That's I understand. I don't never get mad at the women who were with me, and all of them said, "Hey, they would never date me now," but I understand why. Like, you don't have to do no work for me. You know, this guy right here, sole purpose and the sole reason why he's doing this is to make sure that he gets access to you. That's it. Because and people say, somebody said he's lying. Okay, I prove it. Break up with him. Do you still have access to it? Break up with him. Tell him he ain't never going to get access to put. Do you still have access to that? To all the benefits of being with him? No. My homegirl, when we had a snowstorm, she called her ex-husband and said, "Oh, my the car's stuck in the snow." And what's that? He said, "What you want me to do?" Well, I gotta get these, gotta get this. He's what you want me to do? She said, "Well, if you were a man, I had your children, I had this." He said, "What you want me to do?" Well, because the sole reason why he was doing all of that, because you were his. He ain't supposed to do that after you get divorced. This is the thing, and I say this to anybody, and I'll be quiet. The people in the chat, I want to ask you a question. Does anybody actually know the elements of power? And most of them will say they don't know.
They don't know. I know they don't know. Cause my show is called the High Power Podcast. And when I turn up the power in here, a lot of these women get to squirming and playing the victim, and they don't know what power is. They really don't. Because women are so used to being victims and positioning themselves as damsels in distress that can't change nothing. Women really don't know what power is, and when they're up against it, it's like they intimidated and they shy away. It's like
Yeah.
they shrink. It's just a reality. You see it all day, every day.
Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah.
Like, that power is ambition, drive, commitment, and ruthlessness. And if you don't have that, you all right, here's the thing. Men understand that we have to compete. We have to. We know that. We know that there's a competitive nature in us, that we have to compete. We have to compete for everything. Jobs, provisions, everything. We have to compete. When we was back in the wild and the hunters gatherers, we had to compete against the lion. Because if we kill this, we had to hurry up, kill it, because that lion smells that blood, and that's an easy prey. That's easy. The same thing men do. The men is not going to go for a woman who got her shit together. Who is he going to go for?
A weak one.
Where do they do that in the wild?
Right. And this is the
Where
part that women don't get.
I'm about to get attacked. Where do
Yeah.
they do that in the wild? Well, he don't supposed to do that, Joe. Fuck you mean? Why is he don't supposed to?
Right.
Think about it. If what would a lion actually go for? That animal that got his leg broken, or he will go after that vibrant, healthy gazelle? No, he gonna take that one that got his leg broken, the slowest one. I teach in my class. I always show this video of a pack of lions, right? And they show them looking at a herd of buffaloes, and what they're looking for is which one of those are the weakest and slowest. They're looking for the one that's out here, that's slow, that's old, that don't move. And then they start to hone in on that one that's the weakest and slowest, right? And they say, that's the one I'm gonna get. The same thing. What do men do? I'm gonna go after the woman who don't bathe, who don't take care of herself, who don't read, who's arrogant and thinks she can't be played, who talk about Jesus juice and all this other stuff, all this scarcity mindset stuff. And
Yep.
all I simply have to do is be agreeable.
That's it.
It's easy. That is easy.
It's easy, and all you got to
Easy.
do is go up to a woman who thinks she the baddest, who think every dude want her. Right? She got the biggest ego, and that's who you break. You
Yep.
break because all you got to do is tell that sucker what she want to hear, and she fall into her knees. Because you know what? Women have a weakness. Women want to hear lies from men.
Yeah. That's
It's like women hate each other. Women don't value themselves and they don't value other women. They really don't give a fuck what another woman's saying. But if a man say it, it's like her ears open up. It's just like she ready to hear whatever this dude got to say. And men know this. They know you want to be told some shit. You want to be told sweet nothings.
let me tell you something. I did it when I was young. I did it when I was young. I would sit there when I was in my teenage, I didn't know nothing. But when back in the day, I would have to compete with the drug dealers. I can't compete with no dope dealers because I never sold drugs a day in my life. So when I was a teenager, in order for me to go, I would have to go tell you stuff. Hey, you're pretty, you're beautiful, bring you flowers, bring you this. That was my way to compete. Right? Now, if you look now, what do these dudes do? They don't got to do none of that.
They
You
don't.
complete me. You know, I mean, look, man, my homeboy, before he passed away, he had a heart attack in his sleep, right? He used to keep the Bible open and crack open the Bible and have it sitting on the table, and he would have it highlighted, right? Because you know, it highlighted. So when the woman come over, she's like, he's a God-fearing man. He ain't read that Bible
he ain't
once.
Women so easy
But
to
to
play,
her,
man.
she seen the deception.
Yep.
And I'm like, and he was like, oh baby, I was just reading Deuteronomy, you know, and I'll never forgot. I said, man, tell me what First Timothy says. Man, I don't know that stuff. He didn't know.
Women so
woman,
easy to play,
she think
man.
he's safe. She would think he's safe. Make him safe. And I was like, dog, you gonna pay for that? I used to tell him. He's like, man, shoot. But it worked. He came off as a weak man. He knew how to pretend to be a leader. He knew how to finesse everybody to make him seem like he was a leader. He was a masculine. He wasn't. He was a deceiver. And he knew how to placate to a woman's delusion.
Yep.
He knew.
And women so
that's a
delusional
lot of
now. They
men
swear
don't-
that they don't fit that description. But they
Yeah.
all want a man. They all searching for a unicorn. But she swears she don't fit the description.
Yep. and I sat there and I tell women that all the time. How you fall for that one? Yeah. But then and that's why I used to tell people. I used to tell women all the time. Stop telling people your clown resume. You telling women how many men you've been with and how men ain't this and how he's a narcissist and all of that. I say that lets me know that you can be played.
Yeah.
That means that you fall for anything. I can't trust you. I just started cracking open your book. I'd rather a woman read your book, and by the time she meet to me, she done filtered out so many men, weak men, right? She done read your book. She done got herself on her purpose. She on her purpose. She grinded. And she done filtered out all these weak men. So by the time she get to me, she appreciate me. She appreciates everything because she's no longer dealing with the homosexual. She's no longer dealing with the fake married man. She's no longer doing with the other dudes who can't do what they need to do. She now understands me. And now she can be like, I appreciate Joe because he ain't that way. Now she has something to hold me accountable to. I don't run from accountability. No real man will ever run from accountability. No real man. I want you to protect yourself. I tell women all the time, you should stay strapped all the time because this world is not there. God is my protector. Okay, cool, no problem.
That's why she go and get her head knocked smooth off.
Exactly, no problem. And that's when you show me that level of lack of understanding and situational awareness and recklessness, I can no longer teach you
Yeah.
because you have gravitated towards delusion because your ego is so big and so strong that you don't know what you're saying. So you say, okay, where's this man at? Where's these men? They're out here. But your filter is only picking up, or your radar is only picking up the weak man
You know what?
because the weak man mimics you.
Which is true.
You and him got the same thing in common.
True.
And that's the problem.
You
Go
know
ahead.
what? You know what? Women don't know what a good man is.
No,
You can't
they
see
don't.
you can't determine what a good man is if you don't know what a male is, right? And you can't determine what a good man is if you don't understand what it takes for a male to even become just a man, period. We ain't even talking about good and bad, man. We talking about just going from male to man. You can't determine what a man is until you know what a male is. Women don't realize that the nature of men is naturally aggressive, violent, dangerous, all that. And in order for a man to even be considered a man, whether not even good or bad man, just a man, he got to be able to tame himself. Period.
Exactly.
This don't
This
have nothing to do with placating to no woman's ego and him just worshiping the fucking ground that she walk on. But that's how women categorize men being good, based on what she can suck out of him, not based on how he can tame his raw, wicked, violent nature. Women don't even understand the type of thoughts that go through a man's mind. They don't even understand that he got to tame this shit up here too. And now when you just tame yourself and start taking responsibility, now you begin to channel this natural energy into either bad direction or good direction. Bad direction or good direction. So a
You right.
good man is a man that can tame his nature and be a leader and give back to the community and not harm the community. A person that is on a purpose to add value to the community and other people. It don't have nothing to do with what a woman wants to use a man for. And this is where women go wrong looking for quote unquote good men, and they say it ain't none because you can't find a motherfucker that play this fairy tale role for eternity for you. That's why you don't think it's no good men. But just like you will tell your dog when you just get him and he chew up all your damn shoes and your cords and stuff, and you'll say, bad dog, bad dog. Then when you train him to be potty trained so he ain't pissing on your damn couches and shit, and he can go outside, good boy, good dog. Males got to be trained like dogs in order to be social. And when he
I,
is able to integrate without harming other people, and he can hold a job and be responsible, this is when you are dealing with a good man.
let me tell you something. I'm gonna say this. I want to respond to this person. Accountability is a standard that everybody should want. The young lady said, if you are real or you was a good man, you don't need to be held accountable. That's how you get played.
What?
That's how you get played. And I know I heard that, and I think I know who she got it from. It was a content creator who said that a real man doesn't need to be held accountable. Everyone needs to be held
Everybody
accountable.
got to be held accountable. What are we talking about?
But I know what content creator she got that from, and that's the dumbest thing in the world. You have to hold your job holds you accountable to be there at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. If you show up at 9:15, they got to reprimand you.
I
You
mean, there's some
have to do that.
consequences.
But I know who she got it from, and I had to what's name, because I seen somebody say it, and I said no, I can't let that slide. I tell women, men have to be trained to be men.
Yes.
We don't have a purpose, so a woman's purpose is born into her body. A man has to go out there and figure that shit the fuck out. He got to
Exactly.
figure it out. He got to go out there and figure it out. If we go all the way back, I like to use Sparta because I love Sparta, right? And Sparta would grab the boys at a certain age and take them out there to Bagogi and train him to be a warrior. It was a blueprint, and they would take the men and the women to train them to be a warrior because men have to be trained and have to be taught how to be mission oriented.
Yep. They
We
have
know
to.
that
This
because
is
in the
not
military,
this is
you
not
take
natural, and that's the part that women don't get. It's not
exactly.
natural. You have to
If not,
mold
you will
men.
breed a savage.
You
You
will
will
breed a
breed
savage.
a freaking savage. And we see that because if men have to be held accountable because you have to understand there's consequences. This is why we have a Department of Justice system. Shout out to my brother Carr. He always says that's the cure. So Department of Justice system is the correction. So what men have to understand is you can go to prison for the rest of your life. That's accountability. So
Yep.
that stops a man from actually exercising his nature.
And you know what? I try to tell women that y'all keep trying to shame men using moral shame. Males do not have an internal moral compass because they're naturally antisocial. When you take nature, when you just put everything in raw nature, a man don't have no consequences for knocking up a bunch of women and not staying around to quote unquote take care of them. He don't have no responsibility besides competing against other men and passing his genes along, period. Now you take him out of that and you put him in a social environment with his antisocial nature. He cannot function without fear being put on him. So Napoleon Bonaparte, the general of the French
Yeah.
army, he said, men are moved by two levers and two levers only, fear and self-interest. You cannot appeal to a man through moral shame. They don't have a internal moral compass. You got to make a man feel things through consequence. And women don't make men feel consequences because no matter what a man do, no matter what a son do, she come to his rescue. She stick around. No matter what a man does, he can run her into the ground and she's still right there. No
You're right.
consequences. That's why men keep saying y'all raised them because women don't know nothing about males and they keep hindering male development by coming and stepping in the way.
You got to say it. You're telling the truth because my ex-wife, my sons, and my mother, the mother of my sons, never got in the way of me raising my sons. Not one time. And I raised them to be men. That's why my sons know discipline. That's why they're not the way they are because I understand the nature of a man. And even when I would see certain stuff, I would always check it because I know this for a fact. Men will always challenge another man.
Yep.
You will challenge I've challenged my father when I was young. My son tried when he was young, right? You have to do it because men respect power.
Exactly.
Men respect that. And if I didn't do that, then my son would not know consequences and understand that this is where you could go too far and I got to put my hands on you and I got to beat the brakes off you because men have to understand the acceptability of power. I know you and I can get into it. But when women do not show no consequences and they just say, well, I'll forgive you in Jesus' name, or I
Yep.
go do this and that, or, just don't do it again, or I don't want to win over this woman, or I don't want to do this and that. You now set the standard for that man.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
now he's no longer able to act in his nature in a healthy way. And I need to say something to the guy. What she's saying and what you're saying is not bad. It's when it's put in a dangerous way. When men go unchecked,
Exactly.
they terrorize neighborhoods. They terrorize people. Great example. Look at some of the men who went and they made content by hitting women in New York. It didn't stop until one day that boy hit a woman and got his lights knocked out. He no longer did it because now he knows consequences.
Yep.
And
Because
now he
males don't.
understands.
A lot of males don't have forethought either, and they don't
Yep.
think nobody gonna check them, because that's why the importance of the community was critical. Because when Amy knew Sue, Sue knew Margaret, and all of them, they all were responsible for each other. That means when the kids come out the house, everybody watching your kid. And if he do something over there, he gonna get in trouble with everybody. The community holding them responsible. Now we individuals, and women don't like each other, right? So it's, this my son, this my child. You don't tell my child nothing. This is the reason why women are creating all these criminals out here. It's women nurturing the men. Okay,
Nurturing.
and so can you see what they saying on? Can you see the screen on YouTube? Because
Yeah.
I want to play something for you. All right,
Yeah, go ahead.
because this falls in line with what we talking about. Let me play this, because women really out here nurturing criminals, and then they get mad when you tell them that's what they doing. Okay. Yes. And Ecamm Live. Let's just. I gotta restart that. I can't do that right now. Let's see. Okay. Can y'all see this? Yes, you can. Okay, y'all can you see this? Can y'all see the screen? Hold on, I want to make sure we can see the screen. Let's see. Let me go over here. Pop. Okay. All right. So if you pull up YouTube, you should be able to see the screen. Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. I'm finna play this. And I play it one more time. So, can you hear me? I'm coming back to the screen.
All right, got you.
Okay. All right. So what that was, I don't know if you could hear it. I keep hearing people saying that it was audio challenges. So
No, I
basically,
know that. I know that clip.
you know that clip, okay? So what you
Hmm.
think about that? That's this a woman going to a man house. Now that her child, quote unquote child, seemed like a teenager that's much taller than her trying to get some sex. What you think about that?
First of all, I think she was absolutely wrong, and let me tell you why. This is this man's house, and this man out here trying to be with his daughter, and this man is protecting his daughter. But yet you stand up as a woman, put your hand and finger in this man's face in his home, and chastise this man in front of your son when your son was wrong. So now you just gave your son a very great example on how to be destructive. And he can think he can do what he want to do. Right. He got, from what I understand, he got caught. He got caught. So because he chastised your child, which he was supposed to do in his house, you got a problem with it? You got a problem. Now, when your son go out here and make babies, and then you can't live your life, and you got to be a grandmother and take care of their babies, and your son is a slave to puss, don't get mad.
Right.
Don't get mad.
Cause this is what women nurture.
Don't
Because
get mad.
this was an opportunity for her son to experience consequence from another male, because males have to be trained through a dominance hierarchy. They
Yep.
need other men to flex dominance on them in order for them to get right. Women
Yeah.
interfere in this process because she wants to protect her child. That behavior is for girls. It's not for boys.
It's not. It's not. And that leads me to another thing. Like I said, my son had to he challenged me. Okay, cool. And I got his ass. My father challenged me. I challenged my father. That right there, and let's be honest, if she would have allowed that man to go over and chastise and correct her son, that right there would have put something in his brain of consequences. Now, let's take it another further. If he gets pulled over by the police, who has an authority, your son now, because he
Don't
got
respect
checked by that
authority.
man, has a possibility to make it out alive,
Yep.
because now he knows how to respect authority, right? She is setting her son up for 100% failure, and she's setting him up to be a slave.
Yep.
He won't, I'm telling you right now, that boy won't go far. He
Oh
won't.
no.
And if he do, it's everything is mechanical, because you cannot be there for your boy. One of the things I teach my son, listen, I teach him, hey, I'm not going to always be here. So you're going to have to understand, you got to live this life, because daddy moving to Japan, you got to figure something out. So you at this point, you got to understand there's a prison for you. They got a place called Correctional Department of Corrections. They don't have no problem putting your butt in. So you can go over here and play if you want to. That man in that black robe don't have no problem letting you go sit down for a minute. And that's how I talk to my boys, because I want to prepare them for the world.
Right.
The reason why we have all these deviants out here doing all this demonic and deviant things is because we have parents, mothers saying, not my baby. You
Not
better
my
not do this
son.
to my baby.
Exactly.
Nah, my son got checked in school a couple of months ago by one of the teachers. He came to me and said, I was wrong, Dad. I didn't go up to the school and get mad at the teacher for checking my son. He was wrong.
But women do
Nah,
it all the time.
yeah. And I'm like, his mother, my son's mother does not. She don't do that. She's like, no, you got a father for that. You go handle, your father handle that. I'm not doing that. And that's how it's supposed to be. That's how you instill discipline. Because I don't want my son out here to be some sexual hound who chases women and not his purpose. And my 18-year-old is in college. He ain't got time for no woman. He's like, Dad, I ain't got no time for no woman. I'm out here trying to be this. This requires it. But where he get that from? He got that from his father.
And you know what? That's
But
why I
women,
tell women that if anybody need a man, it's another male.
It's another man.
Men need men more than you need a man, woman. But women want their son. They birth sons, and then they try to train them to be these unicorn men that they would like to date. Trying to train their sons to live in a fantasy world, and they set them all the way up for failure. If anybody needs a man, it's another man. It's your sons.
You better say it.
Yeah.
You better say it. But see, it also starts, and we got to be honest, by who you pick to sleep with.
Yep, women hold all the power. It all go
Yeah.
back to women, no matter how you slice it and dice it. This all circles back to women and the responsibility and the hand that they play in this, right? Because women want weak men, right? Women want sexual power over men because she wants to fuel her ego. She not thinking about the kids. The women don't give a damn about the children. To go to show you, the old girl on Real Life Street Stars, she got 5 kids by 3 different men. And since they wouldn't help her, she gave them all up to CPS, an
Yeah, I seen it.
organization that's complicit in human trafficking. Where they getting all the kids from? Desperate ass, delusional women who don't give a fuck about nobody but their own ego.
Yep. Yep. And let me tell you something. I tell women all the time. I'm like, it's so simple. Close your legs.
Oh, that's too much like right, Purpose. That's too much like right.
Close your
What
legs.
we
If you
supposed to do? I can't
see
live
where
without
he at,
dick.
you can't. Look, this is the thing. I never understood this. Right? I have a certain standard of men that I hang around. Men do this. This is a secret. I don't know if Kari's in here, but there's a secret that men do. Right? I don't hang around reckless men because I don't trust them, and I don't hang around men who are slaves to women. I don't, because then you will do something. I don't hang around envious men, and I don't hang around men who don't, and I definitely don't hang out with men who don't take care of their children, because that shows a lack of discipline, and that means that you are very opportunistic, and you'll wait to find a way to screw me over. So if I have all those standards of men that I hang around and men that want to be around me, why the heck? And I ain't giving up no puss.
Right.
I ain't making. Why don't you? If you I'm talking about before I call you a friend, before I put you in my phone and be cool, I must monitor you because I don't want you to be a male liability. So I ask women, why don't you have a certain standard for men? But I also look at women, and I got to be honest, you look at the standard they have with their female friends. So you look at that and they say, okay, I see why. You pick your female friends just like you pick your men.
Women don't understand what having standards means. See,
Yeah.
women think that telling a man, "Oh, you gonna do this and do that for me," she think that's a standard. That ain't nothing but a price tag that you trying to place on yourself that really you don't deserve that price that you giving yourself, right?
I agree.
Standards is basically the principles that you hold for yourself and the character that you mold for yourself, that the way you walk and the way you move demand that other people either live up to you, match your energy, or they get gone. Women don't have no standards for themselves because they dislike themselves, and they sell themselves as sex objects for attention so that they can feel like they better than what they actually are. And this is the reason why they go out competing with other women, because they got low self-value and low standards for self. So how could
man.
they have it for a man? They don't even know what it means to have a standard.
And a lot of women don't have structure.
No.
It, it,
That's too
I
manly.
tell women,
That's too masculine. Purpose,
let me
structure. What?
you must have been in the conversation.
Man,
You must have been in the
shit.
conversation.
Shit, man.
They don't
I
have
get it.
structure.
They tell me that shit all the time. Prince Fella, you too masculine. You too militant. We can't deal with that. Man, I'm already on. I already know.
They They don't. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna share with you. In my course, right? I have
Yeah.
57 people, 60 people show up, and they be like, "Oh, I'm ready to take this course." But when they realize that there's a standard and a structure within, and I don't know if my lions are still in, they'll tell you within a week they drop out.
They drop
They
out.
thought
Cause
it was
they
just we just gonna get together and we gonna talk about how men ain't this
ain't
and
shit.
narcissistic people and all this. And I know
Yep.
we didn't do it. We work out at 3 o'clock in the morning. You wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. From 3 o'clock in the morning all the way up, you putting you on your purpose. Those women will drop out the moment they have a structure. But every woman that graduates my course, everyone has a structured and standard to their life. If you keep a structure and a standard to your life, I can guarantee you, you will deter 95% of the men.
Exactly. They don't even
95.
approach me. These niggas don't even
Yeah.
approach me. And but women, they fear that because they desperate for male. It's something about that male gaze, man. It's something about that
Yeah.
male gaze that just bring a woman to her goddamn knees, and she cannot live without that shit. And so if you tell her that a man probably ain't gonna want her if she get too high, women listening to men. Because when they tell them, oh, we want them fit, feminine, friendly. We don't care about your education. We don't care about this. These women go to lower their motherfucking standards just so they can keep being seen by men. So if you tell them that, oh, a man might not want you, she ain't finna do this. She gonna lower herself and then got the nerve to raise her prices. Ma'am, who the fuck is you? What's wrong with you?
I deal with it. And that, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, every day when I have my next course, I'm gonna invite you. I want you to see it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna want to count. And I guarantee you, come to graduation and see how many graduate. They don't. Because the moment they realize that you have to create a standard, there's a standard and there's structure, they say, I don't want it. And I do it deliberately like that because this is how I want you to raise your life. There's a principle in my course. You spend 90% of your free time on you.
Yeah.
The 10%, I don't care what you do. And if you do it so well and you do self-improvement so well, whatever you spend your 10% on will not notice that you spend 90% on it because you have structure. But
Right.
when you have structure and standard, no narcissist, no abuser, no whatever will be able to run amok in your life. And that goes for men, women, whatever, to run amok in your life because they already know that you have a standard and a way to live. This is why people, why people, and I tell men this because women don't understand this, and I don't know why they don't get it. Men have to be taught how to create a standard and structure.
They
Oh,
do.
I'll tell you how. Military. Dress right dress. Toe the line.
That's why the
Boot,
military
shine.
handle them the way they do.
You see
That's
what I mean?
why.
And I listen to it. I'll be like, yo, it's easy. If a man doesn't have a standard or structure in his life, then how is he making room for you? You don't have nothing to go by. How are you
Right.
judging him by what he's saying?
That's where
That
women
doesn't make any
crazy.
sense.
This why men don't respect. That's why collectively men do
Mm.
not respect women's degrees in anything. Cause ma'am, you mean to tell me you went and you became a judge, you became a fucking lawyer, you got a doctorate, and you still can't deduce information in your environment when it come to a man? You still lost. You still falling for what he said. This, ma'am.
You better say it.
You ain't got no goddamn education. You just trained to work for somebody. You are not educated, ma'am. You a goddamn, you a fool who think
And
she's smart.
I see it all the time. And then they come and I'm like, hey, you shouldn't tell nobody that clown story.
Right.
You should say you dated a billionaire and your ex-husband was a billionaire and you cool. And you
Yeah.
and keep that lie up so he can understand that there's something that you've had. Do not tell him that you dealt with a homosexual and that's all that's out here. That's all you see.
Exactly.
That's
Do
all
not.
that.
Do not
Do
say
not
that.
tell him that. Because he already know your standard is low because you are not what you attract. You are what you entertain.
Yeah.
You entertain that. You stayed with that for 10, 15 years.
And-
And then some of you had the fucking audacity to pay for it.
And-
You'd have paid
Tell
this
him-
man bills. You
Tell
just
them
did this stuff.
again. Just tell them again. And that's why, purpose. That's why I tell them they hoes. They might
Yeah.
not think they hoes, but that's the behavior of a hoe. Because a hoe go out and fuck other men tricks and take that money back to the pimp. These women go get with nothing dudes because they want attention, and then she give up all her resources to this dude plus money. I'm not all that plus money. And so, because women don't have no value on their body. See, they mismanage their wombs. They ain't got no value on their womb. They ain't got no value on their time. They ain't got no value on their labor. They ain't got no value on their mind. And then they turning around and working real jobs and splitting that money with that man straight up whole. And then get the nerve to complain and whine like somebody did something to you when you actually did it to yourself. Because you say you ain't what you are not what you attract, you what you entertain. I say you are what you attracted to. Ma'am, what you attracted to tell a whole lot about you, ma'am, and you like nothing motherfuckers. Yeah.
Look here, and then you can't upgrade from that. I
Right.
tell women this all the time. You can't upgrade for that. I told my homegirl, we had the conversation about this. Her husband was a crackhead, right? And he was a crackhead, and then she finally, after I think they was married for 27 years. He never worked in the whole 27 years. So then she got with the dude, and I said to her, I said, "Hey, do not tell him that your ex-husband was a crackhead. Don't do that. Just keep it quiet. Don't say nothing. That you done had babies by a crackhead. Don't do that." So she said, "No, Joe." I said, "When you tell that man that a man's mind starts to do what's called comparison thinking. And it starts to realize, wait a minute, I'm taking you to all these places and I'm entertaining you.
You, but you
And
fucked a
you got a
crackhead.
crackhead on your resume."
You got a crackhead.
And so she said, Joe, how did you know? I said, because that's what I would do. There ain't no
Yeah.
way I'm going. I said, think. She said, Joe, I told him. I said, and then here's the thing. They were
Shit,
going to
women so
they were
dumb, man. Why would she
and
go and
you
tell
got to
him?
hear this. They were on their way to a show, and she seen her husband on the street, and she said, "There's my ex-husband right
Oh
there."
my
And he
God.
said, "Wait, what? So you were serious?" She said, "Yeah, he been on the street for." She said, "Wait." He said, Hold on, wait. That's your husband?" He turned that car. He said, "No, I'm not doing this. You over here with these that because that's your resume."
That's but and that speaks a lot about her because that's what you was attracted to. That's who you are. You are no prize, Miss Crackhead and nurturer. You are no prize. And men like to feel like they got a prize, like they conquered and earned something. And to realize that I got a crackhead on my shoulder, a crackhead nurturer.
Exactly.
Oh, get off of me, cause you might as well be the crackhead.
Exactly. I told her, I said, "Why you didn't tell him? So you should have told him you dated Bill Gates or you dated someone. You shouldn't even said anything." She said, "No, Joe, but he was supposed to love me. He was." I said, "Whoa. Nobody owe you that.
Nobody
That's
owe
your
you that
problem. You
shit.
think you deserve that. You entitled to that. No one. Oh, you told him and then you showed him what." I said, "What did like I said, men do comparison. Think. Hold on. Wait a minute, yo. You, you. That's your husband? Oh, no, I'm not. Nah, I gotta turn this around. There ain't no way." She said, "Joe, he turned the car around and took me back and said, this ain't gonna work. You can't go from crackhead to a man who got his stuff together. You got to take this as steps." And so we laugh, and I'm like, "You got to take this as steps. Your husband was a 27-year crackhead that didn't work. You done had babies by him,
Just
and
she
you trying to you can't. This is why I tell women, don't tell your clown resume, right? You cannot tell your clown resume. Keep it quiet. You were dating Bill Gates, it just didn't work out. He didn't got you. Just make up some stuff, but do not tell no jokers that you done went out here and you done paid for this stuff.
she
and,
paid
and
for a
then you expect the
crackhead.
man to be understanding.
Right. You just want
You
a man to
you
just accept you because, if you love somebody, ma'am, you done known this man for a month. What the fuck you talking about love?
exactly. That's
Ma'am.
why I be sitting here and I be listening to, and then what happens is that women, when I talk to these women and I speak to them, and I'm like, what you, I don't understand. What do you think about love? And I told a woman one day, I said, do you understand man cannot love something if he doesn't own it? If he doesn't possess, he has to possess it. No, men, I said, okay, I said, but think about it. It has to be worthy to possess in his mind. Your husband, your ex-husband was a crackhead. He's a crackhead. And I see him all the time in DC. I know who he is. You what is he going to feel like when he bring you around his fan? Because women don't understand, men fantasize just like women, but it's a little bit deeper. They look at things a lot more. They look at, oh, I'll bring you around the family or this and that. They come in all this remix and they romanticize themselves, right? And with very little information. Men don't need they don't need information. Women don't understand this, but women do. And I'm gonna tell you who know this.
What?
Instagram models.
Yeah.
They know that men need very little information to romanticize and fantasize about them. And they know that this, with that little bit of information, a man will remix in his mind and give up his rent money and give up whatever to possess what he fantasizes about. They know that. So they come up and they give him fantasies. It's the same with women, but you have to speak more into women. You have to say more. You have to give women more. And the more you play into that delusion they have, the more you got them.
Yeah,
especially when you're a yes man. I mean, you like, yeah, baby, whatever you did, everybody's a narcissist. He didn't value you. He didn't treat you right. I'll do differently, did this and that. And you go to Walmart and get him some $10 flowers, and all of a sudden you in.
Panties come down. Panties all the way down. And she, look,
he
her
completely.
legs, look. She in a pretzel and she bent over the balcony within hours.
Exactly. That's why I say, like somebody said right there, men idolize women. No, they don't. They want to possess them.
Yeah.
And these men go and they create it and they show. I see it all the time. My buddy sends 10 to 15 DMs to a woman a day. My homeboy, before he passed, had an app on his phone that he put in certain things. Now it's AI. He will put certain things in, and the women will be thinking they're having a conversation with him, and they're having a conversation with an app that is looking at what you're saying and actually responding to him. This man was a pro. A pro.
It's so
he
easy
used to
play
tell
women.
me he used to be 460 some pounds, and the women that he would get, he was 460 some pounds. He, like I said, shout out to my brother. He died in his sleep. It would be he standing room only sometime with these women. But what did he do? He would take them to comedy shows. He would take them other places there. And a lot of times the places that he took, he would get free tickets for to be able to go. But to them, they don't know that this stuff didn't cost that much. And he would placate to them. He would, fall into the delusion. He would send them, oh, baby, I'm thinking about buying this house. What do you think? Now he's including you in decision-making skills. So now you think that he's a leader.
Ooh, boy. Game cold, baby. The game cold.
And next thing you know, in a week, got him. And then you go to his house and you think this is his house and you don't understand he renting. Or it's his homeboy house. And then all of a sudden, you done gave it to him and he keeps around. And now you realize that all this stuff was some fluff.
But see, women don't realize they want to
time.
buy that. That's what women want to buy. So, they say supply and demand. It ain't supply and demand, it's demand and supply. See, women demand men put on a show for them. See, women like a performance. Ooh, a woman love a performance. All you got to do is perform for her ass. And she ready to give you whatever the fuck you ask for. Tell her whatever she want to hear. Show her, lay out the carpet, boom, it's over. Because women live in delusion island. They want to be wooed. They want to be swept off their feet. And they want a man to do it. Women demand for men to do this. All a man want to do is get his goddamn nuts off. That's it, and whatever else you willing to give, all right?
Yeah.
That's it.
And
And
that's when, and what happens is, because women don't have a lot of experience with good men because their daddy wasn't shit. And so they don't understand how, when they get that guy or a man on his purpose, a man who's on dedicated, a man who's this, that structure looks like narcissism. That what he it looks like control. It looks like, oh, he's this, he's a control freak. No, he structured his life. I had that happen to me one day. When I told her, I said, no, I get up at 3:30 in the morning, man. I gotta go to the gym. I was trying to break, I was 375 and I was trying to break 300. So I was grinding. And I said, no, I gotta go. And she was like, well, you gonna take me to Capital City Steakhouse? I said, nah, I'm not, I can't eat there because I got a food addiction. I know my weaknesses. So I said, I can't. She said, well, you can do it one time. I said, no. Well, I'm gonna get somebody else to do it. I said, okay,
you see
cool.
what I'm saying? Women don't like to be told no. Women don't like
Yeah.
rejection. So this is the reason
Yeah.
why they choose weak men, because women
Yeah.
want to get their way. And you know how they get their way? Because if they do have a daddy in their life that is quote unquote good, that man, that daddy sets that girl up for failure. He come and oh, it's okay if you scrape. Just cry, just cry. I'm gonna do this for you. And he set her expectations totally unrealistic, looking
Unrealistic.
for other men to play this daddy role because her daddy treated her like a princess and said, this is what a man's supposed to do, and don't accept a man who don't do this. But this ain't men. Why you ain't tell your daughter the truth? Right? So now you
Yep.
send her out there and she expect to get her way all the fucking time. And she throw a temper tantrum and cry like a little sissy when she can't get her way. You know, I done had so many women tell me that I'm narcissistic and I'm too masculine, too man, because, you know, I'm ex-military. You know, I got my commission as an officer, right? And in order to do that, you know, you got to be tough, like tough as nails. These women
Yeah.
cannot handle that. Disciplined people, women don't like it.
Yeah. Especially in other women.
Oh, for damn sure
Because
not in other women.
how dare you don't make the same mistakes as I do? How dare you don't come here and then hold me accountable? I'm gonna tell you something. It's a young lady on TikTok, Red Witch thing. Hard, hard. Her father, and I remember her saying this, her father was hard on her. My and because of that, she was able to succeed and compete. So she's able to understand that you have to compete in a space where men don't respect no woman that doesn't know how to compete. They don't. They just don't. If you don't know how to compete, they're not going to respect that, right? And so even in the military, you know, as an officer, you know you may have to be in charge of men. So you know you can't walk in there and fold because they're not going to respect you. And when I tell women, when you're looking for a man to give you something, he doesn't respect you. I
Exactly.
don't respect. This is crazy. My ex-wife worked, we grind. We were poor when we first started. We had to figure it out. We were teen. We was eating at the Dollar Tree or whatever. Never once did my ex-wife look at me and say, well, a man is supposed to change all of this.
Right.
We figured this out. She worked. She told my son, even she said, we work in this house. And we work together and we build together. That's why she could get whatever she want right now. She can ask me for something, she could get it. I'll take care of her. I'll make sure she's straight. I'll make sure she get whatever because there is a plan in place. If a man does not have structure, he does not have discipline, he doesn't have standards, there should be no reason why you're with him. If a man doesn't have a standard, how are you with him? Because you go look at a man, like what do women do? They go look at a man's ex-wife and ex-girlfriend, and they want to gauge it to
Yeah.
see what he likes.
Yeah.
But they really want to see, am I prettier than what you have?
Exactly. Exactly.
The same thing men do.
Yeah.
So you go and you say, okay, cool. So he has a taste palette for this. So how can you judge? How can you trust a man who does not have discipline within his life, who does not have a standard in his life, who does not have structure in his life, that man can fold. He has no principles.
Absolutely.
I don't respect a man that can flip flop and don't tell the truth. I can't respect a man to do that. I don't respect a man that could fold in the face of another man and sit there and say, "Well, I'm gonna change my stance because this can give me an advantage somewhere else." I cannot respect that man,
Right.
and I know that. And men, we know this,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm understanding. I'm gonna be real with you. Let's be honest. That's a female trait. That's what females do to filter out
Yep.
men and the genes to say your genes are not going in the future.
Mm-hmm.
You will not have any children because I cannot respect you as a man because of these standards.
Mm-hmm.
A man has to be able, back in the day when we were tribal, a man had to come and they had to respect that this man would go out there and willing to die for the tribe, to
Mm-hmm.
feed the tribe. They had to respect him. They had to understand that he was an honorable man. You could not have a wife in Sparta unless you was a citizen. You had to prove yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it baffles me how women have converted this shit,
Mm-hmm.
and they have sit here and allow these weak men, and they actually birth them, and to
Yep.
be able to have babies by weak men, and they get mad at men who say you picked that, you
Yeah.
decided to get that, and no disrespect, a lot of them are right.
They are, and
My ex-wife,
that's what I came to
my
the conclusion
ex-wife
of.
told me. That's what my ex-wife looked at me and knew that's the type of man I want to have a baby with. Why did she wait to meet me to have a baby with, but then didn't have a baby with the other men behind there? Because there's a difference. Women have always been responsible for the selection process of who goes in the future.
And women
So if the
somehow then
dude
lost
finesse
their
you,
mind with how they
yeah,
choose and select. And so
yeah,
even with the book 41 Shades of Men, right?
hmm
Ma'am, I done gave you the fucking blueprint to what men you choosing. And if you still choose them, you do realize this is on you. This is, you can't call you the one with your sexual urges. You the one that look at what you attracted to. You the one that open your legs. Why do you like what you like? Why?
hmm
Why do you have the standards for men that you have? Which all you require is a motherfucker to tell you what you want to hear, and him have a nice print in his gray sweatpants and twist you like a goddamn pretzel. That's all it take.
hmm and and here, and we can go back. Back in the day, a man had to court. He had to go talk to the parents. The father had to approve it. The mother had to approve it before he can even talk to the daughter. And women don't understand this. And I say this, before then, women were property for progression of their fathers. The father would say, "Listen, I want to marry you over to this one right here because me and his father got a business deal, and I want it to be right. So you're going to go marry his son." And his son is expected to provide, do all these things, and do whatever necessary. Now we fast forward, and it became, I need you to court the parents and the father, because he was a disciplinarian. He was disciplined, and he knew the world knew, hey, I need him to have a structure. A man had to come with the things of a man because men hold men to a higher standard and regard than anybody. I know people don't like Kevin Samuels, but if you go back to what Kevin Samuels was saying, he was relentlessly, extremely hard on men. Men must work 60 hours a week. Men must have an expectation to do this. Men must do this. All of this before you can even ever think of having a woman in your life.
Yeah,
That ain't it. Because all you got to do is say some sweet nothings and be quiet, and the drawers drop.
yeah,
I don't understand. And then you want to know why you get in a situation that you're in. It's because you don't have any standards. You don't have anything because you know having standards and structure will not be attractive to the male gaze. You know that.
yeah,
And because of your addiction to it, and you don't want to self-improve, and you don't want to be on your purpose, and you have value within yourself, you rather Go with this weak man who has not competed whatsoever in life. I don't even know where the delusion coming from in this thing. Tell me life, you compete. Even if you don't want to, you compete.
Right.
They just make you think that you're just competing with yourself. You compete. You compete for a job. You compete to go here, go do what you got to. You compete for even airline because if somebody else don't get that seat before you, it goes to the highest bidder. That's what life is. So a man must master himself. He has to have discipline with himself before he should ever be with you. How are you able to trust him?
Right.
We got diseases out here, man. So if we got diseases out here, you have to be able to trust him that he would be able to master himself and discipline himself to not sleep with every woman who bat her eye. So how does he do that? If he doesn't have structure, standard, if he's not able to quote unquote check you when you know you're wrong,
Right.
if he's not able to have this condition and staying within his purpose, how are you not?
Right.
But no, what you go is with this guy over here hits himself, who lies to himself. When a man lies to himself, he cannot be trusted. He cannot be trusted. That is a dangerous man that you should never be, because that man right there will always be envious of another man. And a man, I say this in my thing, an envious man is the most dangerous man in the world. And women do not understand this, because a man knows that he has to go out there and he has to get it. He has to grind. He has to bust his butt to go get it. And no matter what, he can't accept no. So if not, what are you gonna do? The man holding me down, man. You know, he holding me down, baby. Baby, it's okay. Here's my check. Go pay your child support. You can come stay with me. Yeah. You really, baby? I can stay with you? Yeah, I'll do it. And the next thing you know, he's a narcissist.
Yeah.
And I see this.
All the time.
I see it. And I tell women, I'm like, yo, and if you go look at the women, and let's be real, we got to be honest, they all have a certain look. You know what they look like. They all have a certain look. But when I say, hey, I need you to put yourself first. Hey, I need you to be able to clean up. Hey, I need you to be able to go to the gym, work out, do what you got to do. Create a standard and condition for yourself, then that man wouldn't even look at you. He would say, nah, I can't.
Because men need to depend on you to have a need so that they can use your need as a manipulative device to get you to fulfill theirs. A woman that's independent and can fulfill her own needs, is hard for a man to find a way to penetrate, to manipulate her to fulfill his needs. So she got to have a hole somewhere, because if she don't, the investment is too high. It's too much money he might have to invest, too much time, too much attention in order to break that woman down to get her to do what he wants her to do. But women like to be used. Purpose. I tell women all the time, y'all like to promote yourselves as benefits packages for men to use. And then guess what? I showed you these women desperate as hell. Purpose. I just played on TikTok a couple videos. One of them, a woman talking about how is so many good looking men and with good jobs in the stroke ward. Bitch, why is you looking in the stroke ward for a nigga that look good and a good job? And who give a fuck how they look and good job? Where is your wife? He don't need no wife, ma'am. He need to be right where he at, alone. Okay? Then, then they got this shit called lavender marriage. No, look.
Yes.
This shit. So women, quote unquote straight women, looking for a gay man to marry. And then this woman gonna sit up there and say, the only way that a lavender marriage will work, because most men don't even like women. They just don't like us. So you're gonna have to find a gay man who understands the benefit of having a woman in his life. Ma'am, you so desperate to be used that you got to go in the stroke ward and into the gay community to find a man to want to use the benefits that you offer? Are you crazy?
Yep. Let me tell you something. That's why I say it's easier to go to the stroke ward and have that lavender relationship than it is to self-improve for a woman. And make no mistake, the mirror never tells any lies.
Right.
And women will look at that mirror and not even look at themselves and paint their face, go to work, go do this and that, and never look at themselves. And they'll say that the male gaze is so powerful that I'd rather go over here to the stroke ward and deal with this man. Because what you're saying is true, because I know somebody who did it. She's
You
about to
think?
get married to a man who had two strokes. I'm dead serious. She met him. He was a patient.
These
I
women
know somebody
crazy.
who is getting married to two men. I know that, right? And I say this, I'm not. I don't care what you love, whatever you love, but how, because your need to be a caregiver and to be needed is so great that you will go and deal with the man. Which and I understand the man 100% benefits from that.
Yeah,
He doesn't. He 100% because he knows he's being used.
yeah.
What can a man realistically who is had a stroke can provide?
Nothing.
What
Nothing
can he
but a
do?
fantasy. Nothing but to fulfill this fantasy that she got. Women so desperate for a man. Purpose, I swear. When I first started my women's empowerment, teaching and shit, I said that marriage was for men. I really believed that marriage was for men because when you look on paper, men benefit from marriage because women actually slave and give up all this stuff. But then when I started really understanding the male and his perspective and really more so listening to women, I realized that women, number one, don't even like men. And women just want to be married. They don't even care. They really want to just trap a man. And they don't even care because all they want is somebody to be under them. And this is why men cheat and do everything they want to do and don't divorce. And they'll say, we didn't break up our family. You filed for divorce. Because in a man's mind, all she want is the title of being married. She don't actually want the marriage. She just wants to feel like she got ownership over a man, whether she has it in reality or not. She just wants a man so desperately that these women will choose anything. These women going to the jailhouse to find a man. They going in the LGBTQ community to find a man. They going to the fucking stroke ward to find a man. I wouldn't be surprised if they going to the Salvation Army to find a goddamn man.
It's the truth. Look. If I didn't know people personally who done that, let me say something. My homegirl here, she told me, she texted me, because she's in the chat. She said, "Can you tell my story?" My homegirl, right, got a homeless man and cleaned him up, took him home, The homeless man. She did. She went. She was volunteering at the homeless shelter. This man clearly told her she was homeless, right? He said, "I'm homeless. You obviously don't come in the shelter," right? She said, "God told me that you were my husband." Dead serious. She told him, "God told me you was my husband." Got him, brought him home, cleaned him up, got him a job. And if everybody they know, if anybody was on my live that night, they seen her tell the story and them two arguing. He was homeless. And then she flipped out on him. She started doing her stuff. She kept kicking him out every other month or whatever. So he said, you know what? He got her to put him in college, to pay for college. He got a degree. He did everything he needed to do.
I know he loved
The
her
moment
ass.
he graduated and found a job, he was gone.
I don't blame him. I
I
don't.
don't either.
I don't blame him.
She said, "Oh, he used me." No.
No.
He told you he was homeless. But you started going in there talking about this, my stuff, kicking him out. And he realized he used his strategy to figure out how to get you to pay for college. He got you to pay for college. He got you to put him in school, and he got you to get him a degree. And you got a degree, and he got on his feet, and then he was gone. He knew. And I don't know why. And this goes back to women love clown stories, right? Because why would you text me and say, "Can you tell Priscilla my story?" And it's my story. Why would you want someone to know
No,
that you got a homeless man out of the shelter, cleaned him up, and put him through college, and he left you?
look,
Now hold on. Let me mess you up. Her first husband is an engineer at NASA. She left him because he was boring.
and women swear they victims. This is why you can't take a woman who cry fucking victim serious. Look at the choices these women make. And I swear I told them this. You will create a problem where there is none because you want this, you got this unicorn man. And if he don't meet every fucking thing you got on that list, you ready to sabotage the whole damn thing. And so what you do, you go get a weak man because you want a thrill. This why women date dope boys, murderers, and everything else. And then they got the nerve to cry victim. You ain't no victim. And I don't want to hear it.
Let me tell you why she stayed with him. Because he could do good in bed.
Yeah, because
Of
women
course
are
he
sex
could.
addicts. They sex addicts. And they don't
I
want
said,
to sit
wait a
up there
minute.
and tell the truth.
I said, ain't no man can have sex better than a man that need a place to stay. If you got a place to stay, if you know that you whipping that thing and you doing what you need to do every single time.
And look, and
And
men
he
will
did.
tell you. Purpose. I got that right in the 41 Shades of Men. The fact of the matter is, men who are homeless, they the ones who throw sex down the hardest. And men glory and tell women, that ain't the only man that done said this. It's so many men that say all you gotta do is fuck a woman good and you got a place to stay. Women so damn low. And they literally blaming men for the shit that they do to themselves. And want you to feel sorry for them. I don't feel sorry for you. You are complicit. You are complicit.
Let me tell you something. I had a woman I was dating, right? I was dating this woman, and her ex-boyfriend was homeless. And she said, "Well, I'm gonna let him stay with me." I said, "Wait a minute, did you say he's homeless? I ain't the guy for you." I said, "I can't compete with that. That ain't nothing I could compete with. I can't compete with that one. That right there." And she ended up marrying him a year later. A year later, he took her through so much, man. She lost a corporate job because of him. All the stuff that she lost because of that man. That man. And I didn't say nothing. I'm still friends with her to this day. To this day. And I told her, I said, your need to be above something is so great that you were willing to take something that you knew for a fact that is in survival mode. That man, there's no, a man will take his ambition when he's in survival mode and take all the things that a man is supposed to be, and he will try to get out of that. So why would you want to be around? He's not in thriving. He's in survival mode. He's going to figure it out. There ain't no way in the world, a man. How can a man? All right, let's be real. You really ain't thinking about no love or anything when you trying to figure out how to eat, and you got to provide, and you struggle.
Ain't no love in the jungle, man. They said ain't no church in the jungle. Ain't no church in the jungle. That's the part they keep saying. Women don't get it. You out here getting scavengers, talking about some love.
And I say this, and here's the thing, and I think it was a statistic was out about how there are good men, but most women don't want them. And it was talking about engineers. I just spoke with a bunch of black engineers in there, young people in there, young women and men who were out there doing it. You don't want those because those men have got purpose. They on their purpose.
Women don't understand what a good man is because they think that a good man is a woman with a dick. Okay, that's what they think. A good man is a woman with a dick. All right, so until women accept that the nature of a man is violent, polygamous, right? Aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
antisocial. When a man puts effort into being somewhat social, he can hold a job, have a purpose, and not harm other people. That's all that is required for him to be a good man. It
Yep.
don't matter what the fuck you feel, Miss Lesbian in the mind, Miss Spiritual, Emotional, and Mental fucking lesbian who like fucking penis. Okay? You're looking
Mm-hmm.
for a woman with a dick. Okay? Men are
That's
not women with
yeah.
dicks. They are aggressive sexual animals who have to be trained to be socially cohesive. They have to hold a job. But that don't mean that he ain't narcissistic.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that he don't want multiple women, ma'am. Men have to have some control and they have to have some responsibility.
You
That's
better
what
say it.
makes them good men. Not because
Mm-hmm.
you want them to be women with dicks that cater to your
Yep.
emotions and your delusion.
Let me tell you. Oh, you open it up for? Are you open it up for people?
You ready?
I
You
got
ready
like
for
50.
them? You ready for them to
Yeah,
come
go ahead.
up? All right.
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
All right. Let me throw the phone number up here. Yeah, I gotta do this. Okay. Announcements. All right. If y'all want to call in, here's the number. Let's make sure and call one time. Ring the line one time. Your call will be returned in the order it was received. Let's keep this down to 2 minutes max. Have a question in your mind. Ask the question. He'll answer it or I'll answer it, and we got to go on to the next one because we got a time limit. Okay? All right. 832-627-6575. All right. Let me see. Yep. Okay. All right. So once they start calling in, I'll call them and see what they got. All right. All right. Here we go.
I would like to see. You got to see my people. My people. My
Yeah.
people. My people. Man.
Let's see. Okay.
He said it's okay to be single. I'm okay
It.
with being single.
Yeah. You
But what
got
are
to
you
be.
doing with that? What are you doing with that time? Like I hear people say that all the time, but what are you doing with that time?
We
Like
got
you
a
being
call on
single
the
for
line.
what?
Hello. Who am I? Hello. Can I hear you?
Hi, hello.
How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
I'm excellent. Who am I speaking with?
Uh, this is Kelly.
Hello, Kelly. What you got for us tonight? You got a question for me or purpose?
I actually have a question for both of you. And I want to say I really appreciate this show tonight. Um, how do you guys feel? And I just wanted your take from each of you. Um, when you hear a lot of podcasters talking about men who are, what is that, the fearful, avoidant, fearful attachment. Where does that fall into what you guys are discussing tonight? As far as like, do you believe in, that kind of category of a man, that dismissive avoidant, fearful avoidant, men who avoid relationships versus men who are just, like you said, just being men and who they are?
Purpose. You can go first.
Can you explain to me what do you mean fearful and avoidant? It's not like a man to be afraid of
So
something unless
it's
it's
like
avoidant.
it's like a psychological problem that a lot of these podcasters are now trying to bring up about men, how a lot of them, they want relationships, but they have some kind of fearful, avoidant, or um, dismissive attachment is what they call it, where they're just so fearful of relationships, but they actually want them.
That's
Do
bullshit.
either one of you believe that that's a real thing
I
with
don't.
No, it's,
men?
I don't
that's
think so.
bullshit.
No.
Yeah, I'm
No.
about to say it's
Okay.
bullshit.
I'm gonna tell you
Well,
why it's
all right.
bullshit. But you go ahead and answer. But I'm gonna tell you
Yeah,
why it's bullshit from my perspective. Go ahead.
yeah. All right. So here's the thing. Have you met that type of man? He told you he don't want a relationship.
Oh, I've met plenty of men that
Did you
say they
talk
don't
to
want
him after?
relationships.
Did you entertain
Did
him
I
after
do
that?
what? Um, when I was younger, I would say yes, but at my age now, no.
Okay,
So
so
I
let
would
me tell
say
you.
my early 20s, yeah.
Okay, so if a man tell you he don't want no relationship, right? All right, a man cannot provide for nothing that he doesn't. Unless I'm gonna use a word, then don't take it offense. Own.
Mhm.
He don't possess. So if a man
Mhm.
is walking around afraid of something, you're afraid of what? It's bullshit. Like that doesn't even sound right. If you even listen, just listen
Mhm.
to it. I'm fearful and I'm avoiding of it. So if you avoid it, then why are you afraid of it if you avoided it? If you like, I'm not all right, I'm afraid of a lion, right?
Mhm.
If I avoid the lion, how am I still afraid of it? Then that doesn't mean that I shouldn't be communicating with you then. That means that I'm by myself in solitude and I'm not dealing because I'm afraid, right? So if I'm afraid then and I'm avoiding it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm avoiding relationships, so I'm no longer afraid of relationships. I avoided it. I'm like, yo, I'm done with it. I don't have to do it. So I'm afraid of it, so I'm not going to do it. So I'm not going to even be trying to talk to you. I'm not going to come up to you. I'm not going to approach you because I'm afraid of a relationship. All right, I'm going to use me,
Mhm.
right? I was in self-improvement. When I was self-improved, I took 2.5 years, 3 years. I didn't even talk to no woman. You heard what's up. I went to the gym, I went to work out, and I came home. That's all I did. It wasn't that I was afraid of anything. I didn't even want that. I was so focused on my purpose. I avoided women. I didn't even, I was,
Mhm.
hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I gotta go. I'm going here. I was so focused and driven. Like that's to me, I'm gonna close with this. That's BS, man. I think a lot of them just be talking. That doesn't make any sense because that's not even a man's nature. That's why I
Okay.
said, what is it?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Priscilla.
Okay, so when it comes to these attachment theories,
Mhm.
I've already debunked them. I think it's all that shit is bullshit. Because first and foremost, if you are attached to anything, the whole attachment thing is a problem in itself.
Yeah.
Detachment is the goal for life. So now you want to talk about fearful avoidant. In order to
Mhm.
label somebody fearful avoidant, it has to come from the person perceiving the behavior, right? But the person perceiving the behavior don't actually realize and understanding what they perceiving. Most often the person that's perceiving it got some narcissistic tendencies within themselves. So let's take how women actually approach men. Number 1, women don't even listen to men.
Mhm.
Women got their own made up version of a man in their mind. When they get with that man, they latch on and try to control and change everything about that man, right? And if
Mhm.
women don't get their way, they become very destructive. They want to tear every motherfucking thing down. Now, to label a person who recognizes this is a part of a relationship pattern with women, to now label this person a fearful avoidant because they want to avoid your toxic ass and not get into a relationship knowing what you gonna do. How are we labeling this as an attachment issue?
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't
mm.
nobody want to
Yeah.
be controlled and run because women want to suck the life out of men and force these men to worship her for eternity. He can't look the other way. Like it was a video. Did you see this video? It went viral. Where this Indian woman was walking with her husband and it was a man walking in front of him. And this man turned around and looked at a woman. She thought it was her husband and she grabbed this stranger by the
Oh, I
head
seen
and
that.
put right. Who the fuck want to be in a relationship with somebody like that? Fearful of avoiding my ass, bitch, you crazy. And I'm finna avoid your crazy ass.
I wanted to say that so
Yeah,
bad I couldn't
okay.
say it. I was wanting to say it so
Yeah.
bad.
Oh, Priscilla
Fearful
gonna
of
say it.
Yeah.
Okay.
he
Yeah.
was he recognized that there's some shit about you, and he said, "Oh, I don't want
Yeah.
to be in no
Yeah.
relationship."
Yeah. Man, that's what it is.
Well, I get that from a lot of men that say, "Oh, I got messed up, when I was younger and I,
That's
went
bullshit.
through bad
That's bullshit.
experiences."
He
It's
just
just an
trying to spare your
excuse.
feelings.
Yeah, yeah. Spare your feelings and not tell you the truth because most of these women crazy and don't nobody want to deal with that. I mean, that's just the bottom line. But we got to come up with fancy things. Oh, you're fearful of avoiding. Man, that's bullshit. That's
That's
bullshit.
I
bullshit.
don't know if you guys have seen all those podcasts that's out that that they have now teaching women about fearful avoidance and avoidant attachment
Because they're lying.
styles.
They don't want. That's for clicks and views.
Yeah.
That ain't true. She's telling you the
Okay.
truth. I didn't want to say like me. I was fearful and avoiding of not telling you what she's saying because I'm a man. But most men say that because they want to back it. I let me tell you why, and I'm gonna be real because I do it. At my status, when I realize that a woman has a certain characteristics of damaging me, I will already
Mm,
say I'm not ready for a relationship. I
Mm-hmm.
will let it down easy, or I'll say that you're too much for me, or I'm not ready for you. Do you know why? Because if I tell you that I see some things in you that can damage me, right? Or you go and you say, I was just with purpose and I was in a relationship with purpose and he's this and he's that. That can destroy
mhm.
my future and destroy my brand because then people will not want to be around me. So, what I would rather say, or let's say you have the characteristics of the tendencies of that woman to grab somebody's back of the head, you thinking your man, look, you don't want to deal with that. So, what a man would do is he'll be like, yeah, this one crazy. Let me. Oh, I'm a fearful of a relationship. I don't. And I say that, and I had to say that because
Yeah,
Priscilla gave me permission to say it because she said it, and it's because
yeah.
I've done it. I've done it recently, and I'll be like, oh, okay,
But
yeah,
have you ever turned a woman down because of a past woman? Or you know what I mean? Have you ever felt like I don't want to talk to you because I see where this is going because this happened before with another woman?
no, I don't do that.
But
I
most
don't
women think they
Okay.
categorize them.
different though. Most women be thinking they different and y'all be the same. Y'all had the same behavioral patterns, y'all had the same jealousy, the same possessive characteristics, and once a motherfucker experiences it for one person, it's real quick to pick it up in another one.
Yeah, because you
Okay.
experience it. Men go by experience. Once a man experiences something, he realizes it and he says, "Nah, I don't want to do that." You all right? I'm gonna
Okay.
give you an example. Right? If you, I would tell y'all women like women shy away from this book, 48 Laws of Power, and it talks about that. And but
Mhm.
that men are not men.
We gotta go to
Trust
the
me,
next
what
caller
Priscilla's saying
too.
is true.
Yeah, we gotta go to the
Yeah,
next caller. All right.
go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Thank you guys. You're really inspirational. Keep it going, Priscilla. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Bye bye.
Okay. Yeah, cause yeah, women can't stand the 48 laws of power. Like again, my show is called the High Power Podcast, and even with the show being called the High Power Podcast, it be some low power motherfuckers that come in here. This is too much. They
I'm
don't know
trying to.
power. They don't know power. They don't know nothing about
I
power.
you know that when I women, if you go look at that book, they tried and Robert Greene. I went to one of his conference, and this one of these days, I guess it was protesters out,
Yeah,
and they called him all sorts of names or whatever because he wrote a book called Human Nature,
yeah,
and in that passage in Human Nature, it talks about women,
yeah,
and it also talks how women get manipulated and everything else, and then there's another book if women ever want to see this is a book called The Manipulated Man, and a woman actually told everything you're saying, and that woman got death threats. She got whatever because it's just something about the truth. I don't know.
yeah. People hate the
Like I
truth.
said, I had to
See
wait
the
till you say it first.
See, the
I had to
devil
wait till
is
you
a
say it
liar.
first.
See, the devil is a
And then
liar,
I
and the
say it.
truth ain't in him. And so it's like people who actively try to cover up the truth and shy away from the truth, those I see them as demons. I just call them like I don't sugarcoat nothing. I tell these women straight to their face, you a goddamn demon. And fuck this, just forget this shadow work stuff. Oh, we got to do our shadow work. You know, shadow work is just saying check that demon in the goddamn mirror, bitch. Check the demon in the mirror, bitch. Cause that's what you are. Okay. Hello.
Hi.
How you doing? Who am I speaking
Well,
with?
you can call me Goddess. I'm very new to this channel, so I came in a little late,
Uh huh.
but I did hear you two mentioning about the nature of a man. I didn't hear the nature of a woman, but I did hear you say, man is violent. They're naturally just violent. They're predators, polygamous, and one other thing. For me, my question is for the both of you. I am battling between. You mentioned a lady. We were laughing about a lady marrying two gentlemen, and then I have on the other hand that a man is polygamous. So I'm in a conundrum where do I want to extend my bloodline with more than one DNA from different men to extend their chances of survival and all that, or stick it out with just one guy and try to elevate that way. So what is you all's take on that?
I'm gonna just
You
straight
for
up tell
real?
you, yeah, that's crazy. Cause I just want to know if that's a joke. Cause that sounds like hoe talk to me. Should I let one man run through me, or should I get ran through by two men?
Yeah, that's what I'm at.
I can I
That's
can
for
see
real.
that part too.
Huh?
I can see that part too, but as a biologist, I'm looking at it from a different perspective, ma'am. Um,
What?
there's not a lot of good options where I live and in my vicinity, and I want children, I want a family. So I have to make a quick decision right now. And if it causes for me to be a hoe, then okay. But this is the question, and that I just want to hear your answer.
Well,
I,
what?
all right,
Go, go
can I
ahead.
say
You go
something?
ahead. Go purpose, and I'll go after
It,
you.
I gotta ask you for real. I mean, being honest with you, and there's no joke, right? Because maybe sometimes sometimes I'm a special ed student, so take that. You're a biologist. Take that in consideration. I'm a special ed student. Are you for real?
I'm serious
So
because
your
and
options
let me give
is
you context too. I already have a child, and so I already have a gentleman that I have created with, but I don't want to continue to make bad choices
But
what?
wait. You don't want to continue to make bad choices, but you're going to
with this
present.
gentleman. I want
Well,
to do something
I
better.
understand, but listen, you're presenting two more bad choices by either just having sex with one man or two men, right? To let they sperm compete so that you can bring another child into the world who might be a boy that you may not know how to raise, who's going to need a man, and you're not considering that. You're not considering that because you just want to get pregnant.
Why wouldn't the man be around?
Why would they be around if you're gonna get two of them and let them
No,
compete?
I want to leave. I don't want to be with the first. I want if I leave him, I want to go on and get another man. But
That's what
what
I'm
you're
saying. But
saying
how?
is, don't do that.
I'm not understanding why you want to go get another man, all right, and roll the dice with the
Right,
man to produce a child. Are you thinking about the well-being of the child and the world you finna bring this child in while you want to roll the
right,
dice with two men because you want to be pregnant? You already got a child. You already have a family. I don't understand. The world is on fire, and these men
right.
So you say you don't want to make another bad choice, but you presenting me two more bad choices.
So then, what is the answer from your
Can I
perspective? Don't
can
do
I ask you a
anything.
question? Does the two men? What do the two men say? Have you told them?
As with the first one, he's just not on the same level, or doesn't want to be on mentally on the same level. So he's more of like a fly by the wind guy. And the second guy I haven't met, so I'm just trying to see what I should do.
This
You
sounds like
haven't
a
met him.
troll. This sounds
No, I'm
trolling.
just saying I move forward with that, but knowing that the world is at the stage that it is, like,
Not good at it.
what do women do that are looking for a way out, a way better?
But the way better is
Okay,
to close your legs and not bring no more children into this fucked
that's
up
what I've been
world.
doing. But women, what if I want a child? What
But
if
but
I
but
want
but
to?
but, that's selfish, ma'am, because you're not thinking about the
I
well-being of
am selfish.
well, here's the thing, ma'am. My channel ain't for selfish people, because I'm here for the world, and I'm not finna placate to your delusion, ma'am. I am not finna do this shit. I don't know what y'all think. Well, I am selfish. Well, get your selfish ass off my phone. I'm telling you.
You, I'm- hey, that's my world right there. She probably follow me.
Yeah, but
That's
that's crazy. That's crazy. I am selfish. You don't give a fuck about the life of the child? You wanna choose a man to give you a kid that you ain't even met and say, why wouldn't they be there? Why would they be there? Do you know the nature of a man? Do you see the world is on fire? What if you have a boy? You don't even know how to raise a boy because you don't know the nature of a man, and you don't give a fuck because you're self-proclaimed selfish, and I'm supposed to keep talking to you. No. Next.
fair. I love it over here.
Yeah.
Hello.
I
Prince Ella speaking. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, my name is Maya.
Hello, Maya. Who you got a question for?
I wanted to ask Purpose a question.
Go ahead.
Hi, you said that you were raised by your grandma, and I just wanted to ask if you had any examples you could give of, you said that she like raised you and she didn't nurture you. I just wanted to know if you can give any examples of like how she disciplined you, and was able to raise you into a good person.
oh well, my grandmother was a disciplinarian. Like let me give you a great example, right? The way I walk. Um, I my grandmother would take a switch, right, and
Hmm.
press it and pop it in the back if I walked a certain way. I had to walk and sit up straight. Even now, like I when I said it, I already you see what I just did. It reminded me of her
Okay.
because she understood that I had to go in the world. So she trained me to always have a certain presence, right?
Hmm.
And so even the way I walk, she don't walk like that. Don't walk with a pimp. Walk this way. Don't walk with this. Do this. Even in school, she would force me to see certain things. She would talk to me. She would tell me. My grandmother would teach me about women, and I don't. Now I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna tell you something. Game comes from a woman. It doesn't come from a man. I don't know where this thing come from. Where men get game from men. Men will deter men when it comes down to women. Game comes from women. My grandmother used to tell me, "Don't ever live with a woman that's not your wife, and don't ever live with a woman who you don't have your name on the thing. Always do it. A man has to be useful, and you tell it, and never take a woman emotions seriously, because a woman will leave you today and and be with you today and leave you tomorrow. So that made me prepare for life. You see, so I never sold drugs a day in my life. I never did it because my grandma would point them out and say, "Come here, boy. You see that? He'd be dead next week. Don't you do that. Don't ever hang out with reckless people." Every little thing my grandma would turn into a lesson, right? Everything. My
Okay.
grandmother made me where all of us would like she would go to what we used to call the Mary Steakhouse, and she would leave it there and tell the kids, y'all go pick that out. So I knew coming in that I had to survive for myself. I've been out on my own since I was 16, right? So the world taught me a lesson at 16. But my grandmother prepared me for that so I can adapt to any environment. She let me know, don't ever trust a man and don't ever trust a man, only trust his word, only don't ever trust a man's words, trust his actions. Right? Don't trust a woman, don't ever trust a woman who will reduce herself to be with you. A woman is to be useless. And I'm gonna tell you a story, getting emotional. I got a Article 15 in the military, right? And
Mhm.
I I got my pay taken. So one day, my best friend came. One weekend, my best friend came to see me before we was going to Iraq, and I had no food in my house. So she went back and snitched and told my grandmother, little Joe don't got no food in his house. He over there eating a pot of spaghetti. How did I learn how to eat a pot of spaghetti? Because she taught me how to survive when I have nothing. So I knew to go, if I needed anything, get a pot of beans or whatever. So before my money got taken, I went to go buy some stuff. Well, my grandmother called me, and when I pick up the phone, it was a girl. I was dealing with this girl. It was in the background. And so my grandmother said, "Baby, who's that?" I said, "Oh, it's my friend." She says, "A woman?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." Don't ever trust a woman that'll watch you struggle. And I said, "What, grandma?" She don't
Mhm.
ever trust you. Don't have no food in your house. How's she comfortable with you sitting there with no food in your house, knowing you're a man? Let me speak to her. And I gave the phone to her. I said, "My grandma wants to speak to you." Without, I don't, to this day, I don't know what my grandmother said. But that girl got up and said, "I gotta go." And she left. So, because grandmothers are wisdom, grandfathers grandfathers are wisdom to a granddaughter, because he's going to be hard. He can be like, "Look, let me tell you what these men are do. Let me tell you, so you don't go out here doing this." Grandmothers are wisdom to men. So then she taught me how to stand on my own and never ask for nothing from nobody. So I developed a habit of providing and being self-sustainable for myself. So when I had a family, I could take care of them and do what I need to do. That's what a man is supposed to do. I know how to, as a man, how to provide for a woman. Am I going to do it again? No, I won't do that again. Because now I understand what my grandmother was saying, that a woman is supposed to be useful. Was she not working? What do you mean she not working? And you gonna have all that on your back? You can't keep that up, son. And she was right. I couldn't. And it caused friction. So yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Oh, yes, it did. Thank you so much. I take some advice from you as well, Princella, if you have any ideas. Because I know you talk about women who have sons, and I do have sons, and I just want to get it right.
Well, so I will say that number one, to plan to the last thing that he said, you be careful with any of these quote unquote femininity gurus telling you to quote unquote rest in your femininity, because femininity don't rest. Femininity is the hardest working of the two, the masculine and the feminine component of the two. So a woman is the producer. So women collectively do most of the work. So a lazy woman, a woman that's looking to ride for nothing, that's a woman you don't fuck with. That's a woman you don't deal with, right? Okay?
Yeah.
And in terms of raising boys, women got to understand you have to cut the cord. You can't nurture and coddle your sons. They have to be under a dominance hierarchy. And I would always tell women to find some sport, whether some disciplinary sport, whether that be boxing, uh, some other form of martial arts, sports. But I'm a high advocate of the military. And if you can find a Marine Academy, out of all of the branches, Marine Academy, that's where he need to be. But women cannot raise boys, because at a certain age, once testosterone, there is a shut off where a male actually listens to women. Like men, you have to understand the nature of a man is predatory. He hunts females. So after a while, your son is going to stop listening to you, and he's going to seek for other males, because he's
Mhm.
supposed to be under a dominance hierarchy. And women, when you coddle them and you keep them from standing on their own, you hurt them for the rest of their life. Because males only have a certain amount of time before they really learn things, and they get to a point where they become so hardened where you can't change them and keep teaching them anything.
Nigga, it's true.
All right. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Good night.
And good night. How many more calls you want to take, per?
Two more.
Okay.
Or three. You can make it three. I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Money. The value of money and having no money doesn't mean anything.
Okay. We're gonna go to the next one. 912.
I'm gonna answer this question. I got a text her. She said, "What do you mean by hierarchy?" I'm say this. I'm waiting for the person.
Hello.
Okay,
Hello.
I'll answer it.
Yes.
Hey, Princella
How you
and
doing?
Purpose. This is I'm doing okay. I came in like midpoint in the podcast. I do have a couple questions. I'm gonna make it real quick. First and foremost, Purpose. It's my first time hearing about you. How do I take your course? Like, where can I find you?
Well, you can find me Purpose and Resilience. I have one of my students now running my course because I'm technically on a sabbatical. So I won't return back until April. April. But if you go to Unbreakable Women Facebook group, there will be a course for women only, run by women. I'm just going to teach in and out. You can take that course, but self improvement course, I got to be real with you. It's a waiting list of 700. I think we did 758 people. 758 people.
Mm,
It's a waiting list, and I have to honor those people before I actually open it up. But I would say stay tuned because a lot of times a lot of people drop out, right? Because of the
okay.
structure, and you may can slide into a course because we have what's called a lottery. But it's pretty hard to get in self improvement university. No joke. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's pretty hard. Um, it's a lot. It's a 30-day course. It is a lot. It's run like a military. That's why it's so effective. But like I said, if you want
Okay.
dry unbreakable women on Facebook group, they have a we have a is a course, a challenge going to be a 6 week challenge starting December 2nd. So whoever's in that group
Oh, okay.
is only limited to 60. It behooves you to get to that group now and get in there because once it hits 60, the group closes. And it's only for members. So everybody that you will see in there are actually taking the course and taking the class. And once we hit 60, and it's at 58 now, it's shut down.
All right. All right. All right. And my next question is, being with a man. This is for both of you guys. Being with a man for a long period of time with a purpose. What would knock him off his purpose? Like, should I worry that they may revert back to their core, like as far as sustaining a relationship with them long term?
What do you mean? I don't understand. That
Like, if I'm
were you
with a
trying to
man
say
who
what
is
would knock a
purpose
man off of
driven,
his purpose?
no, like, I'm just saying, if I'm with a man that's purpose driven, you know, and I'm trying to sustain a relationship long term with them, you know, isn't there a chance that, they could like go back to their core, like even after overcoming their nature? You
If
know
I
what I
tell you
mean?
I'm gonna hurt your feelings, I'm gonna hurt your feelings. So I'll let Priscilla answer that because I I'm gonna hurt your feelings, and I don't want. She has a better way of articulating it than me, so I'll yield to Priscilla for that one.
A man's nature is always gonna be a man's nature, and
Yeah.
when you say revert to his nature, what do you mean? Do you mean sleeping with other women? Because ultimately, what
when a man is on his purpose, you ain't the center of attention, and you ain't supposed to be as a woman, right? And
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah.
yeah, you're not supposed to be. And so, since you're not the center of attention, and you can't make that man that has his purpose the center of attention, are you asking, will he slip in and have sex with other women? Is that the question?
Yes, just basically everything that you mentioned about a man's core. Basically, all of their characteristics, right?
Well, here's the thing: when a man is on his purpose, he get more access to women. He attracts
Yeah.
more women, and so that's just gonna be something that's with him. I can't tell you he gonna turn every woman down. He might turn some of them down. He might turn them all down. He might not turn any of them down. You never know. But at the end of the day, if you're gonna be with that man, you got to understand that if he feels that you are the person that actually supports the vision, because a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush, and if you are giving him all of his needs in order for him to sustain his purpose, yeah, he might have sex with this one or that one, but he won't leave you if that's the case. But it's also not meaning that he's going to put you at the forefront or the center of attention, right? So you just got to take the good with the
Okay.
bad. If this is something that you just want to be attached to a man, you just gonna have to understand that your position is not to be the forefront of that attention, and you just gonna have to ride it the way it is.
I
Okay.
gotta. I have to be honest with you, and I got to tell you the
Yeah,
truth.
please be honest. Yeah, yeah, I want to hear the truth. So, so
You won't last. You won't last. You won't.
like long
The
term in a
the level.
relationship with a man on his purpose that I won't last. Like, what you mean?
If
Because you
men
already trying to.
cannot last with a woman on their purpose, it is a vastly different beast. That man 100% has to every second of the day focus because of the distractions and his nature in him.
Okay,
And
okay, yeah, yeah.
you have to understand when a man is on his purpose, it's something that it's like a scent to a woman.
Mm,
The women that he is going to attract, he has to state you won't last. Because then here's the thing. He's going to have moments of weakness. And I'm not trying to be harsh, right? He's going to have
okay, okay,
moments of weakness.
yeah,
He going to succumb to one of
okay.
those.
He
Because
is.
women, let me be real, and I'm not trying to be honest. When you're on your purpose and you at a certain level on your purpose, women are compliant. So if you say I got a girlfriend
Mm,
or I got a woman, they're gonna hit you with, so you know how hard that
mm,
is as a man to know that you got a woman who's not gonna hold you accountable, free puss, and you can get away with it. But then you got this woman that you're not even putting at the center of attention and your purpose.
mm.
You see what I mean? I'm not trying to be fun. I'm trying to be really
Yeah, yeah,
fun. I'm
yeah.
not trying to be funny with it. I'm just
No, I'm
saying it's like
asking.
it's a hard thing for a man to do. And especially if
Okay.
if you don't mind me asking, how long he's been on this purpose?
No, I'm not. I'm actually not with anybody at the moment.
So you
But
saying to
when
prepare
when
for
I
a man on
was
his
with that,
purpose?
because I was with
Huh?
a man like that, and
You
because I'm saying, can you hear me just fine?
yeah.
I'm saying because I was with a man like that, but I seen a difference from being with a man who was heavily purpose driven versus being with a man who wasn't. So it's like
Yeah,
you're
most
telling me, it's this is a moment to moment thing that he has to battle. So what the best decision would be for me to just focus on my purpose and stay detached and just stick with that because I have a purpose myself, but I'm I'm really like I really don't know how to 'cause even though I want to focus on my purpose but be with somebody
you're
like
not on
how
your
to
purpose.
maneuver there.
You're
You
not
know
on
what
your
I
purpose.
Yeah,
mean?
you're not on your
You full of
purpose,
shit.
and you don't sound strong enough
Yeah.
to compartmentalize and not fall victim or fall to the weakness of seminal fluid. You're
Yeah.
instantly going. You don't have the strength to do that, right? So your purpose, even if you did have a purpose and was on, it's not strong enough to keep you focused because what you really want is attention, and emotional fulfillment, and you want that from a man. And so, if you met a dude that was on his purpose, you will sabotage his whole life because you would become overly possessive, overly controlling, and you will have so much emotional turmoil going on because you gonna want his attention, and he can't give it to you.
Okay, so
And I
are you okay? So the best bet just sounds like for me to just like stay celibate and on my purpose. Then like there's no purpose of a relationship. Is that what you're
That
insinuating?
when you
can
yeah.
I ask you
You know what I
what
mean?
is celibacy? Are you doing it for spiritual reasons?
Yeah, it's for spiritual.
So
But I mean,
you
a
made a
part of it.
vow to God. So if you made a vow to God, why is this a conversation?
Right.
Because your creator, this all right, you know what I tell women? I tell women all the time in my class, y'all portray your own, you will betray your own creator. So why should I trust you? Why should I trust? Right now, your commitment. Let me say something. Women who are on their purpose, and I know them, the interest of sex is not there.
Or even like
I
just
I I,
having
I
like a
trained
life
them. I
partner
trained
or
them.
You're too focused
okay.
on a life partner. You don't have a purpose. There is a codependent emptiness in you that is desperately searching for somebody to fulfill it, right? And you're wanting to do that through sex. And the person you want sex from is a man. This is not healthy. This ain't healthy. It ain't even about betraying the creator because most of these folks don't even know the creator. It's about
Yeah.
betraying they self. If you betray
Mm.
yourself, you'll betray anybody, right? So your focus needs to be on finding what is driving you to desire this person that you ain't even met yet, that you don't have in your life.
Mm.
You're not focused on a purpose because you're focusing too much on a person that don't even exist.
Okay, yeah, I understand. Thank you. One more question about the April Unbreakable Woman on Facebook, the group. Do they have this every year, throughout the year, these challenges? How often?
Well, all right. So Unbreakable Women's December, right? We was gonna have it before Thanksgiving, but we realized people ain't gonna be disciplined enough. It's a very hard course. But it's by women. I'm in the back seat. But if you're asking about Self Improvement University, that's my baby. That's not until I come back. I only came back here for my battle buddy. I'm technically not here, but and that won't be until April, right? But
April
then, like I
next year.
said,
Okay, so
there
you're
is a whole lot of people I got to get through. I got to keep my word that I told them they can get through. So we have to go through that. It's just not me. It's a whole team. But the women one is next month. But like I said, you better be real quick, man, because it's 60 people is the max. And I don't know if, Tamika is actually going to increase it because a lot of people won't make it. It's very structured.
okay, okay.
So all I can say is
Thank
good
you
luck
so
to you in
much.
the beginning.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate y'all. All right.
No
All
problem.
right, no problem. All right. All right.
I wanted to say something to the ladies like you can be on your purpose and be in a relationship. No, you can't. I haven't seen it. All right. The difference between a woman and a man, when a woman gets on she has zero desire because you got to think about this. I wish I had my get on my board and show you. When you get on your purpose, you start to look at all the things you must change, right? So you look at all the things you must change, and especially if it's your body. So when women start to realize that they need to make changes, the first thing they look is that their body, and they go to the gym and they work out, they do what they got to do, and then because of that, they use the endorphins to look at the emotions. You When you're focused on your purpose, and then you find your purpose, and then you find what you want, whether it's speaking, whether it's you want to start a business, whatever it is, the aggression to do it Because a lot of you, let's be real with you, you're not in your 20s. So you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, you got children, you got kids. The focus to do it, you're not even thinking about no future man. Most women who are on a purpose don't even have the desire to be with they because it's a distraction. It's a distraction. You don't have no time. No woman don't want to be with no man. Like, look, I gotta have the responsibility of a relationship. It's and I gotta figure this out. And I got therapy appointment. I got go to the gym. I got this appointment. I'm trying to write a business proposal. There is no way a woman can do it. And I'm gonna be honest, what a women end up doing is finding a maintenance man, which ends up destroying them because they end up getting feelings for that maintenance man, which knocks them back off their purpose again. Women, what I find out is that women will try to find shortcuts, and because of that, it messes them up. You know, I
Absolutely.
want my mother Teresa. I like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of December 2nd through the 4th, I got my highly requested workshop coming up here. Love, Men, and Manipulation Decoded. Ladies, you too busy looking for something that you don't understand. You don't understand love, and you looking for it. And you wouldn't be looking for it if you understood it. And I make a bold statement that men are incapable of love, and I can back it up. And I can teach you how to be able to see through manipulation before it even get to your doorstep. And that's how we come up with the concept Love, Men, and Manipulation Decoded. It's a 3-day workshop that I hold, and it's highly requested. I haven't done this, I don't think I've done it once this year. Maybe I have done it once this year, but I usually hold it once a quarter. So we have it. If you want to register for that, registration is open. You can go to you can go to thequeenmakerofficial.com/VSL to register for that. I think women need some real education on how to develop themselves, right? And at the end of the day, the choice is yours. You either stay where you stay where you at, or you improve. But you cannot join things hoping that you're gonna find an easy way out. Listen, ain't no easy way out. There's no real program that's gonna help you, that's gonna cater to your emotions and your feelings and your desire to be a victim. Either once you know better, you do better, right? So I would encourage y'all to register for Love, Men, and Manipulation Decoded. If you think 41 Shades of Men was anything, you'd be totally mind blown with this. This my baby. I think this the best thing I ever created. You might think 41 Shades is. Nah, I think Love, Men, and Manipulation is the best thing I done created. Right. All right. So we got take 2 more calls.
Yeah, 2 more. Yeah,
All right. Oh, did you want to address that person that had sent you a text, a question
yeah.
that you had?
I want to say this. Well, one, how can I put it? You, when you're on your purpose, right? When you're on your purpose, you don't want you don't want any outside things. Because she sent me another one. I'm gonna answer this one. You don't. She wants to explain why is it different for men and women. And I'm about to hurt a lot of people's feelings. Women destroy women.
Yep.
And I don't want to be disrespectful to people, so I'm gonna try to put it away because I'm gonna respond. When a man says I want to improve myself, the world expects it, right? You supposed to do that. You supposed to do that in your 20s. So a man goes, we got TRT for men. You got all this other stuff that will help in these support groups for men. No more Mr. Nice Guy. He starts working out. If he starts a channel, working out in fitness, it blow up tomorrow. When women say, I want to self improve and I want to improve my life, they get shunned because how dare you want to be better than me?
Yep. Yep.
And so what ends up happening is that women, I call it the League of a Thousand, starts to suppress a woman and saying, no, you don't supposed to do this. You're supposed to do this because the when a woman self improve, and especially if she do her body, there's an advantage that she has of the male gaze. She will get more men's attention than a woman who is just, let's be honest, regularly.
Mm-hmm.
So then now she's sitting back and she self improved her life, and they shun her, they shame her. Give you a great example. If you look at women who are working out or document their journey of working out, they got maybe 100 followers.
Mm-hmm.
They would have to show boobs and be a little bit more overly sexualized to get more views, which is the male gaze,
Mm-hmm.
which will then make them even more hated by other women.
Yep.
Women
Yeah.
are not supported
No,
when they
women do
improve.
not support women. Women don't.
Yeah, they
Women will
don't.
do anything. If a man say do it, the women running. Because
Yep.
women have a weakness for male attention. Like
Yeah.
it's like in order for a woman to really support another woman, she got to be teaching that woman how to do some hoe shit.
Exactly.
That's the. Otherwise, women ain't listening to women. Women will run to men for every fucking thing, and they'll only turn to a woman if it's about getting advice on how to keep a man. Anything else, the bitch ain't listening. She
You better
don't.
say it.
It's just the bottom line.
You better say it. And that's why I was telling I said, for me, I got praised. I got celebrated. She didn't. She lost her friends. They didn't want to be around her no more. They told her she ain't this. She changed. It's just, it is what it is. Women oppress women. We were talking and she got mad. Me and her had a great debate about The Handmaid's Tale. And I told her I love that movie, but I love that thing, but people don't like it. And like my thought process, I said, who was the most violent out of it? She was, oh, men. No, it was women. Who
It
did
was
they
women.
get to oppress women? It was women that
Yep.
they did that. It wasn't. If you they did it deliberately. I tell people to go watch this and actually go look at the behind the scenes, how they told the men how they would have to look down, and they made the actors feel uncomfortable when they see a woman being chastised by another woman. If you look at it, most of the violence in there and the most of the mistreatment to women came by the hands of other women.
Yeah.
They were trying to send a message.
And here's what I've been trying. This is what I've been telling people. This is purpose. This is my conclusion. I believe that women created men to use men as attack dogs to destroy other women. This shit is too easy for women to do, and everybody recognizes how much women hate each other. This is why, even though it makes sense for women to share amongst themselves all their resources, women got all the power together. But instead, they fight each other and then they seek to look for a man to give all their power to, and then they will sick this man on another woman. Women set up women using men and letting men grape women, all kind of shit. Like Arthur Schopenhauer, he said men by nature are merely indifferent to each other, but women by nature are enemies. This is why if a man say something, a woman's ears open wide up. She willing to soak in everything this man say. He tell her to jump, she how high? What do you have? I wanna know. Only time a bitch wanna listen to a woman is when she telling you how to be with a man. That's it. That's it. If you ain't teaching her about how to get a man, she don't want to hear shit else you got to say.
You better say it. I'm gonna address this. I want to address my homegirl's second question. Right? She said, "Can you give examples how men?" I said it on my live. How men learn through chaos. They learn to peace through chaos. I'm going to give you a great example. I tell everybody in my men's group, watch the movie Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
And I need people to go actually read about Oppenheimer. And Oppenheimer created the atomic bomb, the atom, and split the atom. But what people don't realize is after it, after everybody seeing the aftermath of the destruction that he caused, his spirit wouldn't rest and he became a man of peace.
Mm-hmm.
Men do not learn peace but through war.
Right.
And she got upset with me. I said, look at me. I went through war. I don't kill nothing in my home. A fly, whatever, I don't do none of that because I actually seen the aftermath of what chaos caused and destruction. So I've seen it. And I said, I no longer want to participate that in that just even a little bit. I don't want it to where I won't kill anything. She got upset with me because her ex-husband was like, I disagree completely with what he's saying. I'm not saying a man has to be taught through experiences. When he sees Oppenheimer, he changed into a man of peace. And what is the word he said? I believe I gave man the ability to kill itself.
Mm-hmm.
So his words. And he seen the aftermath and the destruction. If anybody doesn't believe me, if you go back and look, they showed and had cameras and showed the United States of America, the world, showed the world of what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
And that by that, it made people say, I don't want to see that no more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see that anymore. And he became a man of peace. He was like, I want to do peace. I want to spread love. I want to do this. You only do that through violence. I'll bring it forward for the people to bring it back again. Mike Tyson is the most savage and vicious, greatest fighter who ever lived. He's the most savage fighter. He knows savagery. He's now a man of peace. That's what I'm trying to get y'all ladies to say. If a man is not going through it and coming out of the other side, how
Mm-hmm.
is he able to be with you? He's going to cause you chaos for him to experience it.
Well, women want chaos. Women like chaos. I believe that women are the creators of patriarchy. This is why patriarchy cannot thrive without women's support. Women like chaos. Women create the chaos, right? Because
Yeah,
you talked about it earlier.
yeah,
She
yeah,
left the dude because he was boring. Women
yeah,
don't like peace, even though they are supposed to be the maintainers of peace.
yeah,
Women seek for conflict and chaos, and they do it through men. They like this shit. And so
yeah,
they encourage men to be ruthless and vile. Women sexually validate the most ruthless men.
yeah.
Women are the creators of this shit.
Yeah, look at some of the men out here in this world that we saw. Alexander the Great. Was he so great? Do you know how many millions of people he did? He killed? But he was the most sought after man. Women do this. And it's even with let's even we don't even have to go back that far. I like bad boys. I like men drug dealers. I like thugs. I like this. These men, why? These men are chaos.
Yeah.
They are destructions of communities. And you think you can turn that? And I tell women all the time that man has to experience chaos in order for him to be a man of peace. This is why when you stick him in jail, he come out, he goes to become a Muslim, which is understandable, and he starts to learn the ways of trying to figure out life in peace. But because he's been through so much, but he didn't come out of it, he didn't learn. And if he doesn't learn, he doesn't say, "Okay, I get it now. I understand." Even me, I was the most violent person in Iraq. It wasn't until I got back that I became a man of peace. And I said, I don't want to do that no more. I never want to do that no more because I understand the destructions and the capabilities of a man. I know what the nature of a man and the violent nature and the vile nature of a man is. And when women say, oh, men, you have to understand that morality in a man has to be taught. It doesn't come not naturally because I have to hurt. There's no morality in war.
Right.
This is why you give men an image. You give them an image. You give them an enemy, and they just go. They don't even know. And I think that's the thing. I think a lot of women don't understand. It's like you said the other day. We not the same.
Right.
You can't look for a woman with a penis and expect that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But you think you can turn that?
Women
And,
delusional.
and
That's just
women
what
do
it
that all the
is. Women just delusional as hell.
time. Yeah.
And, it's a sad thing because they a big part of they are a major part of why the world look the way it look. And they don't want to take no accountability for nothing. They
Man,
ain't did
I
nothing.
I agree, and I tell women that all the time. That because men chase you. You can change the world in an instant. In an
Yep.
instant, because you have power. In
Yep.
an instant, you can change the sucker. Men will change because because the you could catch them because he ain't on his purpose. He's not on his purpose. You could catch him. I say that because like we've been all over the world. Like I was talking to ladies about if you go to Kuwait and you go to different places, I don't know where they get that these women are not in control. Like when I went to Saudi, women are in control. They may wear the garments and everything like that, but these women dictate a lot of the household. These men are not in control. They not what? No, because the men are held at accountable if they don't provide for their family. If they don't do what they go to jail. It's not. It's not. She could walk down there and say, "Hey, he didn't do this," and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna have to do something." Women can change this in an instant, like that.
They don't want to because
Like
they
that.
won't be hoes. They like that attention. They don't understand male neurology. They don't understand how the man's brain works when women dress half naked. They don't understand that. But they like that
Yeah.
attention because see that's why you got to cover yourself up over there because by you not being covered up you're triggering the man's nature and then
There
you
you go.
want to have him control his behavior, ma'am. You're gonna have the more men you have, the more you make yourself less free, the more eggshells you got to walk on, ma'am.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, you got to cover your ass up the more men
Yeah.
you have because you have to consider their existence in the world too because you live amongst them. Oh, but you
You
want to
know,
do what you want to do though, huh? Nah, 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 nah. You can't do that. But they don't want to change nothing because they like to be hoes that get attention from men. They don't want no self discipline. That's too much like right,
mhm.
you know?
And people say, and even here, you back in the day, women were covered up. My grandmama had a muumuu on, and she had 9, 10 kids. But when she walked out there, she didn't act that way. That's why I was saying. I was telling young ladies the other day. I said, a man, he ain't stupid. A man ain't. Women have to always stop thinking that men are not intelligent. It's just that the intelligence is a difference. And if you don't understand it, then you shouldn't want to date them. You shouldn't be out here trying to date because you're gonna get yourself hurt. And see, over in those countries, they understand. That's why they hold men extremely, especially in Turkey, extremely accountable. You can't you must provide, or somebody's taking your check from you and providing for you. They it's not the same. It's not the same. You got another caller?
No, no, no. We got plenty of callers, but I know you got to get ready to go. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, because
Oh yeah.
it's almost 11:30 over there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I thank y'all for this, man. This
Yeah.
been. I like your people. They all right. They
Yes.
all right. They all right.
Yeah,
I appreciate.
I ain't know what you might have expected, but I keep it real over here. I don't got no filters or nothing like that. I just talk because somebody they need to be hit in the face with the truth, straight up. Like all this tiptoeing and dancing around reality and facts, man, they got to stop.
Cause look where it got us. We don't have that kind of time now to be sitting up here lollygagging and pussyfooting around.
I say that all the time. You know, I look at women all the time and I say, you know, at what point do you start to realize that this ain't, it's about to get real? And if it's not even about, it is. It's here now.
It's here.
The reality is here now. At some point, you can't play. You can't play. And I find that at first I used to say that men were late to the party. Nah, nah. And we got to get rid of the PC culture. We got to get people to tell the truth. Is at this point you got to tell the truth. You know, I get attacked by a lot of relationship gurus, and I disagree with 99% of them suckers because I
Me
don't like
too.
none of them because I think they placate the women
Yeah.
and tell women lies and they make women feel a certain way. So then they make them food for the manipulator and the delusional and the deceptive man.
Right.
And then they give them and they tell women, you know, especially the femininity coaches. I got one that's a great friend of mine. I love her, but we disagree with 90%, 90 of the thing, and we still friends. But your femininity is for one and for that one person that you want to be with. It ain't for everybody.
Right.
And femininity, like you said, is the hardest working thing. And that's what it is. She wanted me to explain this. What do you mean? And I said, I agree with her because I said it before. Femininity works harder than masculinity will
It
ever
does.
be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, like I'll say this, like everybody like to call themselves queen. If you go looking back in time, that role of a queen work harder than the king. And I'll tell you why. The queen back in the day was responsible for all the birth giving. She was the mid mother for everywhere in her kingdom. If somebody was to have a child, she was there. She was responsible for the inventory, the accountability, the taxes to be collected. She was responsible for marriage counseling in there. She was responsible for approval of marriage. She was responsible for the education and how the education flow within the kingdom. The the role of a queen was such a diligent task. She had to be responsible where the money was going to be allocated, the expansion of the
Right.
kingdom. She would go and do even militaristic. She had to know. People call themselves queens, and I'm like, well, there's no queen who sat there and just on the throne and just what's the name?
Yeah, yeah, just cute, yeah. Or being a queen and all you do is slave labor. Ma'am,
Exactly.
you a fucking serf. What I mean, you a
Sir,
peasant. What the fuck is you talking about? You cook and clean and shit. Queens ain't got time to do that shit. They got real shit to handle.
I'm trying to tell you that there was nobody wanted to be queen. Nobody back in the, I don't know. There's all people. You had to be selected, and if you look at a lot of the women didn't want it. They didn't want it because it was so much work. It was the princess who didn't have work because all she was waiting for, and she was gladly to be a princess as long as she ain't had to be pawned off to be somebody's what's the name. But the queen worked. That was some. I mean, she did a lot. So I tell women, you got to be careful what you want.
Well,
You got to be careful what you
and
want.
the way and that's a good example. I like to use because the the law, the dynamics operate the same no matter how you look at it. So I always like to use stuff like electronics to be able to depict this. It's real simple. The power cord is the male end, and the device you plug it into is the female end. Which one you think do the most work? The computer or the fucking charging cable? The phone or the
Mhm.
charging cable? The camera or the charging cable? Which one do the most goddamn work?
Yep.
The
Mm, mm,
motherboard do more work than this goddamn power cable.
yep.
And it's
I,
always been like that and always will be like that. You don't rest in nothing. That's laziness talking.
that's why I say you begging. You begging. I told a woman. I said I'm reading about I'm reading about Genghis Khan's wife, the first one, and all the stuff that she did. She was responsible for the expansion of where he was at. She
Mm-hmm.
was responsible for the spies to go over there. She was responsible for the logistics to go over there, Silk Road. She was responsible for the, the negotiations. This woman was his chief strategist in everything. She was
Mm-hmm.
responsible even in his death to hide his body.
Mm-hmm.
And you what? You think you can just sit and wait? It doesn't, and a man's supposed to go do it. That is a new Western idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what your grandmama did. I don't understand where they got this from. And and it's lazy talk. Your grandmama worked. She had nine of them suckers. She had to figure out how she did do that. And she would take the husband's paycheck and try to figure out how to feed nine children.
Mm-hmm.
And she had to do this for 18 years. Some of those kids didn't have high school diplomas or didn't go to school because they had to go work in the factory to bring home money to provide for their sisters and brothers. Where the fuck do you get this shit from? And
Right.
but I listen to these people, and I listen to these women, and I'm like, why would you want a man to provide all 100% anything? Do you understand what that says to you? You have absolutely no say so in that home.
Mm-hmm. Women
None.
like to be slaves. They like to be slaves. They love the idea of being a pretty princess. And that's why they irk my goddamn soul. That's why they irk my
And
soul.
and now you give a man, once you say all the stuff that you want, now you give a man of what he needs to do to pretend. Men are very, very good at deceiving. They have to be. A
Yeah.
man, and oh, that's what the woman wanted me to do. The man is deception, and the reason why a man is good at deception because we got to hunt. Like, where do you think fake when a man hunts ducks, he puts fake ducks in the water so the real ducks can come in and come there? Well, did you know that those fake ducks are female ducks? So he has to put fake female ducks in the water to be able to get the other ducks and say, "Oh, that's a female," and come down, and that's how he gets them. Men have in snipers, they have suits on to blend in with the environment. Men are good at deception. We have to be in order to hunt. So if that's the case, then why are you don't I don't
It's
want to
like
offend anybody, but
listen,
why
it's
do you
like
don't?
taking candy from a baby. Women don't realize that they're underdeveloped children in the mind. And that's why, it's a clip with Shahrazad Ali saying that that the average black woman don't grow no older than 14 in the mind. Some people wanted me to make commentary, but I ain't got nothing to say because she didn't lie. That's the truth. All
Because
you
the
gotta
world
do
lies.
is all you gotta do is throw some confetti and give her a shiny object, and here she come like a goddamn child. Like
Yeah.
she getting kidnapped with a puppy. You wanna come see my puppy? Yeah, I wanna see it. You want some candy? And then she get her ass kidnapped.
Yeah, exactly. But see, me and you talked about this the other day. Like women are reckless by
Yeah,
nature. They'll
they
go to a
reckless.
man that's 7 feet tall, that's 400 some goddamn pounds, 7 feet tall, and have a delusion to actually think they're going to beat, and they will put themselves in those bad situations. If you don't, none of y'all don't believe me. Go to Las Vegas in the summertime, and you'll see recklessness walking down the street. Recklessness. And and I would tell women, like, hey man, I tell women all the time, hey, look, don't drink at the club. You know what I'm saying? Just don't even drink water. Oh, you trying not to, I'm trying to have a good time. And I had this personally happen to somebody very extremely close to me. I told her, I said, listen, don't go to the club, don't go to the club, and and just don't go and don't do anything. Have a good time, don't do anything, don't accept the drinks from a man. She ain't listen to me. And so she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. He's a man. Man's supposed to buy me a drink." Dude bought her a drink. She started feeling woozy. But she remembered what I told her. I said, "Go in the bathroom, stick your finger in your mouth, and throw it up. Right? And if anything, call your friend." So she called me. I'm only 10 minutes away. So I was in there, and the guy was like, "Oh, I'll take you home. I'll take you home." And then by the time I got there, she was coming out. She was dizzy. As soon as he seen me, he was gone. Right? And we ended up getting his tag number. Come to find out, she was drugged. And I was like, see what I mean? But here's the thing. She wouldn't have did that if she would just listen to me. This is don't get nothing
Women
because you
hard
don't know
headed.
this club. And that club I knew was the known for that. And they ended up doing an investigation or whatever and finding out, finding that place got shut down. But it's very difficult to get a woman to understand, to be safe and not be reckless.
She want to
It's
do what
very
she want to do. She emotional. She want to do what she want to do. Not all men.
okay.
She need to learn the hard way. Cause women don't
Yeah.
like to be told nothing.
They
They
tell me,
don't.
they say, "Oh, well, why don't you talk to the men?" Does that work? There's a justice system. There's a criminal. There's a police officer that they don't just tell men stop doing it. Are you serious? And that's why I try my hardest. I'll be like, you know what? I'm not gonna tell you what to do. But you go out there and you be reckless and you don't understand life is because we lie to women to get their money. We lie to, and we see these we see these coaches and these relationship coaches. Now we've seen the explosion of the relationship coaches. All of them saying the same thing, running the same damn script, and all this. Then they say, oh yeah, how to not attract a narcissist. They use whatever's popular. And they tell women these things instead of telling them how to be freedom, how to be sovereign, how to get things within themselves. If
Uh-huh.
you're not out here on your grind and on your purpose, going to get what you need to do for you, there's no reason why you should need to be looking for it for someone else. Because if you are a predator and you're a manipulator,
Absolutely.
and you're going to get manipulated. You cannot out manipulate a man. You can't when that is his nature. He knows how to be delusional. I mean, to be deceptive. How can you out manipulate that when you don't even know that arena because society has lied to you? So you've been lied to, but he's been told the truth. So he gonna one up you in life any day.
Yeah, especially if you a woman are just if you are addicted to sex, you're done because you can't beat a man at sex, ma'am.
Yeah,
You are a receiver, ma'am, and seminal fluid alters your damn defenses. It alters
it's
your
true.
clarity. You can't beat a man at this, ma'am. But
Yeah,
closing your legs is too much like right. Getting your own shit is too much like right. Collaborating with other women is too much like right. You just need some dick. You just need
yeah.
a man in your ear. You just gotta have it. And this is why you getting running to the ground. Cause you asking for this. You asking for it.
That's that's why I say this, and I'll close with this. This is why I tell women you have to self improve because it makes you no longer want and desire the things that you want from a man, and then it frees you up if you choose to do so. Right, whatever you try to date, it reduces the chances of being played and manipulated by a man. And we see these things all the time. All the time, we look at women who get broke down by men. But then if you say, well, what if you was to take that energy and you was to put it in yourself? They can't do it. It's like, no, well,
That's
why
too
am I
much
doing it?
like right. Women
Yeah,
like wasting their energy. Women
yeah,
don't have no value on their time. Yet, if you ask a woman how much she get paid an hour at her job, she'll quickly be able to tell you, I get paid $15 or $21 an hour. But ask her how much her time is worth with a man, she ain't got no motherfucking price on it. She ain't got no goddamn price on it.
yep,
She talk about a sex worker that sell pussy for money, and she don't even have no dollar amount on her pussy. She just let a nigga fuck her for
yeah.
free because
That's
she
true.
wants some attention. So she don't know her value at all. And she give it away to a man because she so desperately need that validation. And then when she come across a person like me, how dare you, Princella, tell us you're too masculine. You just want us to be single. You just don't want us to be happy. You want us to be alone. What we supposed to do? Eat cat? I'm just so sick of these motherfuckers. They just because they don't want to do better, but they want to complain. But a man doing to you exactly what you ask him to do.
100%. Because you found him for that reason. You wanted him and you seeked him out for that reason to hurt you. There's no way
Yep.
in the world when you put yourself first. If you say you say I'm gonna put myself first, I don't care with nothing else. I will put myself first. The attention that you're seeking is no longer there. You don't want it.
Right.
But you know how hard that is. You telling a woman, and we think about it. We over here telling women to go against the league of 1,000 other women who telling her that we're wrong.
Right.
Go against the social media who's telling her that we're wrong and we're the problem.
Right.
And they come in and they're like, well, you are 2 and they're 10,000. And
Right.
it's hard for women because I deal with it when the women come in my course. It is hard. I watch these women will sit here and I tell them, put yourself first. Wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and they can't.
They only
But when they
there.
go,
They only there because they want a man to teach them something.
exactly,
It's like
man.
they're only going to you because you're a man, and they
Yeah,
just want a man to tell them something. I mean, this shit is crazy.
yeah. Let me tell you something. Me and my boy Kari, we say this all the time. Women come and they come in and they don't even notice that I only teach twice. The rest of the classes I teach by women.
By
And I
women.
do it that way because women will take the harshness from me more than they'll take the harshness from a woman. And they'll go, and a woman will tell them every single thing to help them. They won't listen.
They won't listen.
I have a class that is the same. The only difference was probably this class, the last class, where it was me and her had the same class. And it's hard, even in the beginning, it's hard. If I tell a woman, I need you to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. 3 o'clock in the morning, you got 3, 4, and 5. You got to pick one of those times. They'll pick 5 o'clock. Okay, pick up at 5 o'clock. And they'll look and say, and they'll call me a week later and say, Joe, it's hard. But I'm like, wait a minute, you just told me that you went over there with Johnny and you climbed through the window for some ping.
Yep.
To make that make sense to me. And they can't do it. Because then when you remove, and especially when I have in my class, you're not allowed to get on social media. So now I remove the attention from social media. Now you come in here with me, I'm not attracted to you because you broke it. I don't do that to my students. I'm not attracted. So now you no longer have attraction or the attention of a male gaze. So now you're sitting here and you're like, I can't do this.
I can't do it, and then they drop out because that's what
They drop out.
they're really there to be seen, and they just it's just the male. They just want that male attention. They
Yeah,
can't break it.
they can't. And
Like
it, and it's
that's
and
why women going to listen to. That's why women will, no matter what Derek Jackson did, these women still flock to listen to this man.
you better say it.
Women just want to listen to men.
Yeah. Tell me I'm not wrong.
Yep.
Tell me it's his fault.
Yep.
And you like, well, look, never once did Derek Jackson never say anything, put yourself first and value who you are. Leave
Never.
it alone. Go out here. Never once. It's always his fault. Even after all the stuff that he did, it don't matter. All you have to do is tell. And then like I said, when they come to me, I'm not telling. I'm saying it's all your fault, with the exception of being touched. All of it is yours. And let's now that you know it's yours, now you can change it. I can't do this, Joe. I did 3 days of this. I'm done. And they're done. They don't come. They like, I can't do it. It be the ones, especially when I say, hey, you're gonna have to what gets them is, hey, you're gonna have to cook your own food. That one right there tear them up. They can go and sit on a treadmill for hours, but do you tell them they have to cook their own food? They, but you'll cook for that man and tell them you can cook. You'll put that as one of your what's names to get them. But when I say cook your own food, you don't want to do it. They cannot. It's hard for me to get women to convert that
And that's why, here's the
over.
thing. That's the reason why they voted Trump in the office.
Yeah.
Because women don't want to be accountable and responsible. These women want to be slaves. And they finna take your ass back to the slavery that you want to be in. They finna take your abortion rights away. They taking no-fault divorces away. And bitch, Nick Fuentes already out there talking about your body, my choice. See, that's what you want. You want that shit. You want to be under a man. You desire it. So I'm trying to figure out what you complaining about. Because you just can't wait to run under a man. So why in the hell are you worried about being forced to be under one? Because that's where the fuck you keep running to.
And got all the power.
You got all the goddamn power, begging to give it away to a man that actually needs you, that follows you, and whatever you do. Right?
Yep. All right, Battle. I gotta go.
Man. All right, I sure
I'll
appreciate
talk to you
you for
later now.
kicking it with me, man.
All right, I'm gonna holler at you tomorrow.
All right, peace.
Peace.
All right, y'all. All right, so thank y'all so much for coming. Let me go ahead and holler at the people who sent out super chats so that they can get their praise. Thank y'all so much for kicking it on this show. Red Fairy, DF, $10. Savannah, $10. Thank you for your wisdom and light. Tammy Bars, $10. The Queen Maker here. Layla LaRue, $5. Candy Cane Lane, $10. This convo hidden tonight, and I know some aren't ready for these truths, but it's needed. Keep preaching. Zakana Corner, $20. Men like to say we can get a man to fuck us, but not marry us. We can get a weak man if we pretend. Submissive for many men means loyalty to an undisciplined man. We aren't dogs. Don't let a man convince you otherwise, ladies. 334 girl, $20. Y'all dropping strong facts. Illuminated Pisces, 2222. Thank you. 334 girl, $10. They don't even approach because they can't even compete with your standards. Man, y'all are preaching tonight. Thank you. All right. Kayshawn, $5. Awesome. Masterclass tonight. Thank you, Princella and guest. Candy Cane Lane, $5. And let's see, Sarah Benachek, $2. Love you, P. Thank you. Bro Science, $5. Queen, I'm the man you've been looking for. I watch my gooch, dick cheese, and my legs in the shower. I missed you. Hey ladies. Sarah Benachek, $50. Ain't no bro on a outbid, gonna outbid me. Thank you. Morrow and Associates Inc., $2. Arletta, $5. WB, $1. WB, $2. I've been looking for your guest lately, Pete. Thank you. Hey, look, make sure that y'all sign up for the Love, Men, and Manipulation Decoded Workshop. As women, you really need to know what love is because you're too busy searching for it outside of yourself. Seriously, right? You can also join my Mindful Mornings. I have Mindful Mornings, and I do that at 30 minutes every morning, 5 o'clock to 5:30 to 6 o'clock every morning, Monday through Friday. If you want to join that, my mods will put it in the super chats or in the chats. If you want to go to the Love, Men, and Manipulation Decoded Workshop, hit up the queenmakerofficial.com/VSL. You got to put that /VSL on there. All right. Make sure y'all rewind this, put this one down in the books, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.